Imagine that. And MetaShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE, 877-26-BIBLE.
Shop early, save big, all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, get select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at just $59.98. Don't wait to save. Shop these deals today, in-store or online, because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 76, visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Looking for Seahawks tickets? Sign up for text notifications to receive alerts about last-minute ticket availability and offers. Simply text the word Seahawks to 71211. Go Hawks!
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Thursday night football. It is Ravens-Bengals tonight. Kickoff at 5:20.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. You know, when you're trying to figure out how to improve something with yourself, you kind of look around for inspiration, right? It's like the entire point of, I don't know if anyone uses this platform, but Pinterest. Or, you know, like little inspirational things on Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. You look around, you listen to podcasts, you look for inspiration, you try to find someone to motivate you because that's just kind of what you do. It helps to see a path that worked for someone else.
I motivate myself. I wake up every day, I look in the mirror and say, go get it.
Okay.
That's what I do.
But I'm sure that there have been times when you have listened to a podcast or read a book.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe had a mentor and you were like, that's really interesting. I love that that path worked for them. I think the Seahawks can kind of lean into that by looking at some other teams around the NFL. And, you know, last night in a group email that we had, you and I were kind of looking around the league at current contenders and how those contenders rebuilt. Like, what did they do? You know what I mean? And sometimes something isn't going to work out for you. Like, nothing annoys me more than seeing, like, a 21-year-old fitness influencer. And they're like, here's what I eat in a day. No, what happens is your metabolism is amazing. Show me a 40-year-old that's in perfect shape. I want to know what they do.
Or when I see the couples that lose a lot of weight together, I'm like, oh, that's dope. But then they had surgery. Like, that's cool. You had surgery, but let's not forget the part where you had the surgery.
Let's say that at the front.
Yeah.
So with that being said, some of these are approaches that you're going to feel like the Seahawks aren't going to do that or they can't do that. But we're still going to look at it because they were relatively quick turnarounds. Okay. So we've got a couple teams. I'm just going to introduce the team, and then you tell me what you saw, and then we'll kind of we'll talk about the team. The most obvious one, currently the best team in the NFC, the Lions. What did they do?
Yeah, the Lions. They got a new head coach. I think that's the foundation of a turnaround is you have to start with new leadership. So they got a new head coach in Dan Campbell, who everyone fell in love with on Hard Knocks. Good job, the Lions. I mean, they're kind of forced to do Hard Knocks. They didn't say, hey, pick me. They kind of thrown in there. But they drafted well. Offensive line, tight end, running back, wide receiver, and they got an experienced quarterback. They said, look, we're going to build a team that's ready to go, and then we are going to get a quarterback who understands the system and worked in something similar to the system that they have over there. That was Jared Goff. Prime example of started from the bottom, now we hear the Lions.
I also, the Lions are a team that did not just turn around in one season. It just kind of felt like it. Like it feels, if you have not been paying attention to the Lions at all, it feels like it's been 3 seasons that they've gone from being feisty, you know what I mean, to being dominant. But it has actually taken, I would say, back to the 2016 draft class and just building that up. Then they got the right GM, the right coach, and all those players developed, and it kind of all came together. But one thing that's really been working for the Lions is that they have found a key starter in nearly every draft class since 2016. They've had some big misses. Jeff Okudah was a huge miss. Okay, that was a bust. But they've also had huge gains. So really, really keying in on the draft and really having successful classes is what's been working for the Lions. Maybe the Seahawks have a really, really good one, and that gets them in that. But let's go to the Commanders. What did the Commanders do? Because they've also had a quick turnaround.
Yeah, the Commanders, they've accelerated the process. No one thought they would be here, but this is how they got here. They found a franchise quarterback. That means they were so bad, they had a high pick, and they went and got Jaden Daniels, and they already had a few weapons on the offensive side of the ball already. And then defensively, they acquired some veterans. You got D. Flower over there, who's top 10 when it comes to sacks. You got Luvu, go Cougs, who is a good linebacker. And then they traded away some big assets. They were not afraid to say, this isn't working out. Montez Sweat and Chase Young. Chase Young was like the second pick in the 2021 draft or something like that. And they already said, look, it's not working here. He's injured all the time, and he's not available. Montez Sweat was playing some good ball. Actually, he was playing the best ball out of the two, but they figured, look, we drafted some other guys. Let's build around them and trade away some big assets so we can try to build this football team. And then you brought over a head coach who's been there and who's done that, and Dan Quinn, who is known for putting these defenses together and making them function. So started with a quarterback. I think that's typically where it happens with these teams. New head coach, acquired some veterans on defense, Flower and Luvu, and then traded away some big assets so they can get some more draft picks.
I'm going to add on one tiny bullet point before we go to the next one, and I'll stress that I have no proof to back this up whatsoever. There's no proof to back up that what I'm about to say is true. I just feel like it is. The vibes are right. I feel like Dan Snyder not being owner has something to do with it, too.
Went out on a limb.
You know what I mean?
Went out on a limb.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Look, like, I'm going to throw you this hypothetical, and you're going to think no as an answer without knowing why. Would Jaden be succeeding with Dan Snyder as owner of the Commanders? I don't know why the answer feels like no.
It feels like no. Like Snyder has nothing to do with the play on the field, but he has a lot to do with the culture and the feel of the organization. I'm going to go out and say you are probably correct. Jaden Daniels will not be the man he is today with Snyder over there.
Okay, so we've got the Lions who just drafted exceptionally well for several years, and then they traded for an experienced quarterback. You've got the Commanders who made bold moves and decided to part ways with veterans and then found a franchise quarterback with the number 2 overall pick. Miami is your next team.
How come when I see Miami, I always think of Will Smith, Welcome to Miami. Those were good times when Will Smith was rapping and not acting as much. But Miami, what they did was they drafted a quarterback. Surprise, surprise, right? The Lions found a quarterback. Commanders drafted a quarterback. Miami drafted a quarterback. And then they went out and said, we're going to buy you some help. We're not gonna be shy when it comes to opening up the checkbook. We're gonna go and get you Tyreek Hill at that time was probably considered the best receiver in the game. Still top 2 or 3 in my opinion. And then they bought some defensive talent as well. Hit the linebacker spot. You got Jalen Ramsey over there as well. And then they drafted. You got Waddle, you got Achane as well. And then 2 out of the last 4 offensive linemen they drafted are starters. That is key. So what they did was they found themselves some offensive linemen. I looked at where PFF has the Miami Dolphins. They're mediocre when it comes to the offensive line. That's all you're asking for here in Seattle. So quarterback, weapons, defensive talent, some veterans over there, drafted well at the skill positions, and then found 2 starters out of 4 offensive linemen that they drafted.
I also know that right now, us including the Miami Dolphins, feels like, well, they're 3rd in the AFC East. Like, what do you mean that they were able to get that turnaround? Why would I look at them as an example? But it was a different path than the other 2 teams, and they did do that very quickly. I mean, not since 2016 had they even been to the playoffs, so there was a 5-year playoff drought there until they went back in 2022. And then obviously they'd only been in the playoffs twice between 2002 and 2021. So even though right now they look kind of like the old bad version of the Dolphins, it's also because they were banged up without Tua, had some major injuries. So we're primarily looking at the 2023 Dolphins and how they went from, 5-11 in 2019 or 9-8 in 2021 to where they were as one of the best offenses in the league in 2023. Okay.
Yep.
Next up, a team that I hate to give props to, but you got to do a tip of the cap because of what they've been doing, the Niners.
These guys were lucky as heck. They did not draft Brock Purdy thinking this is going to be the franchise quarterback for us. They drafted him saying, all right, this guy has potential. Let's see if he makes the roster, maybe be a backup quarterback. He'll be solid. We shall see. So they got lucky. They drafted a quarterback late, as late as you can draft any player in the NFL draft last. And then they wouldn't spend what they needed in veteran talent. They look at the offensive line. You wouldn't got Trent Williams. But they really rolled the dice. They were on some Los Angeles Rams type stuff low-key with this move. They went and got Christian McCaffrey. You gave up 4 picks, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th in 2023, and a 5th in 2024. You did draft George Kittle. You did draft Deebo Samuel. You did draft Brandon Ayuk. So what they did was they were great in the draft in their skill positions. They got lucky at the quarterback spot, but they had already had a defense that was balling for a few years before that. The Niners did a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. They did a little bit. They spent money. They traded away picks. They drafted well, and they got lucky. The way the Niners did it, and they were garbage for a few years, so they were able to get those picks. The way the Niners have done it, I think it's the hardest way to do it out of these 3 or these four teams, because
the part of it's luck.
The luck in Brock Purdy, finding him,
the last pick,
is ridiculous. And for him to solidify himself, I'm the guy. I'm going to be the guy for the next 4 or 5 years here. It's remarkable. But they also were not scared to spend money. Mm-mm. And that's something that we've seen with all of these teams, is they have not been scared to spend a little bit of coin. I think the Lions probably, when they got Jared Goff, they didn't spend as much as they're spending now. He's getting $55 million a year. He's earned that. But there's some similarities in everyone, all these teams, but I think the Niners' way to success has been probably the hardest.
Well, and it's not like Brock Purdy won the job his first season.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was 3rd.
Stumbled into that.
You know what
Injuries.
I mean? They did not foresee all of that happening. They were thinking like, oh, I found $20 in my pocket of these jeans I've had in my closet for a year.
Yeah.
It was not like, oh, I saved this and then I, found it for a great moment. As we continue to look at these 4 teams, improving personnel, common thread, drafting well, common thread, luck, a somewhat common thread, but primarily with the Niners.
Niners all day. I'm
going to throw in good coaching, and I'm going to ask you an impossible question,
Mm-hmm.
but I will answer as well. Which of these teams has had coaching make the biggest impact on their turnaround? It's so hard. I'm between 2 teams. Well, 2, 3. Oh, my God. I'm between 3 teams.
Here's the thing. They all have different situations. Cliff Kingsbury needs some love with the Commanders. He needs some love. He is right in his pocket. This is what he does. He develops quarterbacks. He's done it. We got 3 or 4 of them things in the league right now that were essentially developed by Cliff Kingsbury. With the Lions, Dan Campbell, I think, was more of an influence when it comes to just that gritty, grimy culture. We will outwork you. We're going to have pads on. We're going to tackle. I'm going to push the limits when it comes to the CBA rules. When can you practice? When can't you practice?
School.
We're going as old school as you can. With Miami, what do? You bring over a young man from the Shanahan tree, and you look at what the Miami Dolphins have been able to do, yet they have some of the greatest personnel over there. The Niners is all about coaching and all about personnel. This might be the hardest question that you've asked me in 3 years doing this with you. I'm going to say
it's impossible.
I'm going to say it is impossible. It is impossible. I think, you know what? I'm going to go with the Commanders. I'm going to go with the Commanders because you have a rookie quarterback over there, and they can easily be messed up. We've seen rookie quarterbacks get jacked up all the time. I think Dan Campbell brought over instant credibility.
Yeah.
Because with Miami, McDaniel had to earn that credibility. With the Lions, he had to earn that credibility. With the Niners, Shanahan already had it, but John Lynch has done a great job giving him everything he needs for his team to have success. I'm going with the Commanders and Cliff Kingsbury. Do your thing, man.
My mind immediately went to Niners because I thought, well, Kyle Shanahan being brilliant. Like, two things that have worked for the Niners. Overcoming injuries at running back and still being a great run team. Not as elite as with Christian McCaffrey. They've struggled in the red zone, but they've kept it moving. And they're still a good offense in part because of his brilliant mind. But they have great skill position players and a great roster. I went to the Lions and I thought, man, who wouldn't run through a wall for Dan Campbell? He's got to be part of that. But they also have great players.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the wild card. I think Miami. I think that Mike McDaniel, his relationship with Tua, and knowing that Tua spoke on the record about, no offense to Brian Flores,
he wasn't nice.
You know what I mean? Who's in his bag as defensive coordinator for the Vikings, having a great season, and did nothing wrong. It just wasn't, the right vibe between the two. But look, it's the most important position on your team, and unlocking Tua was the most important part of taking advantage of your skill position players and your speedy wide receivers.
Say the same for Cliff. He unlocked that thing fresh out the package. Didn't let it sit. It was a bobblehead that was out of the package already, not already secured.
But is Jaden Daniels a more talented player than Tua? Like,
Yeah,
did
for
you
sure.
need a special key
For
to
sure.
unlock Tua?
He is a more talented player, yeah, most definitely. But he's still a rookie.
I just love that the two obvious answers are Lions and Niners, and we settled on Commanders and Dolphins. All right. We are going to talk about the Mariners coming up at 10:30. We've got some really interesting sound from John Morosi about a potential signing, a controversial signing that could make sense for the M's. And then if they're not going to spend, he issues a warning about what improving the offseason might need to look like instead. Before we get to that, though, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one. Actually, a pretty good matchup on Thursday Night Football tonight. Bengals and Ravens in a big AFC North tilt. What's the real headline?
It's a meeting of two MVP candidates, but we're only going to be talking about one of them. Now, I'm going to preface by saying that Lamar is having a better year than Joe Burrow, but what I find fascinating about the Bengals and Joe Burrow season is exactly what you spoke about yesterday in Four Down Territory, Bump, which is that Joe Burrow is quietly having a phenomenal year, and the Bengals aren't backing it up with wins, so no one's paying attention to the fact that he's got, let's see, where are his touchdowns? 20 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
He's balling.
That's insane.
Completing 70% of his passes. But the MVP award is a QB award combined with a team award.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a quarterback get the MVP and his team did not make the playoffs or did not have a winning record?
Hasn't happened.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we haven't seen that before. So it's unfortunate because if you're talking about essentially the most valuable player, Joe Burrow is the most valuable player because of the numbers that he's putting up. But it is a team award as well. So you got to lean towards Lamar right now, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and I'm throwing the youngster Jaden Daniels in there. But give Joe some love. He is playing probably the best he's played in his career, and no one's really paying attention to it.
I know that you know the answer to this question, so it's going to take you 2 seconds, but I just like the trivia-style question. There are 3 quarterbacks in the NFL who have 20 or more touchdowns this year, and funny enough, none of them have double-digit interceptions. 2 of them are playing tonight, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, each with 20 touchdowns apiece. Who's the third?
Baker.
Yes,
Yep.
Baker Mayfield leading the league's 23 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the University of Florida announced head football coach Billy Napier will return in 2025. What's the real headline?
Jed Fish is going to have to close that Gainesville Zillow tab for now. Sorry, Jed.
Save your searches, Jed.
Yeah, but bookmark it. You know what I mean? You never know what's
Right, you
going to
can
come
always go
back on
back.
the market later. Yeah, so I guess congratulations to Billy. Going to return to Florida. And Jed Fish, presumably going to return to Washington.
Hey, just stay put, you know?
Just for once.
Just work it out. Just work it out. We live in a culture where you just want to get up and leave when things aren't going well. And you got to follow the money. And that's the hard part, is that you can never tell someone not to follow the money or their dreams. But every now and then, man, sit put and see if you could develop something, develop a culture. I'll say it again. UW, you have everything at your university to hang with the big dogs every single year. You just have to commit, pour money into your programs. And I promise you, y'all can swing with the best of them.
Why do you think, is it like a geographical culture thing? Like, why do you think that Washington has that up and down history and is a little more volatile in their eras compared to like a Michigan?
Because
you know what I mean?
Seattle is an international city.
Yeah.
There's so many different people coming to go to UW, different cultures. They don't care about football like that. So when they leave and make millions of dollars, they're not pouring into the football program. They're pouring into the research program. Now go to Michigan, middle of the country. That's all you got is it's the American culture is so thick in middle America that people care about football the most. Here in Seattle, I think people care, but because of the internationals that are here, it just don't hit the same.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, per John Heyman of the New York Post, the Tampa Bay Rays are reportedly a team showing interest in signing Juan Soto. What's the real headline?
They're spending that new roof money on Juan Soto, which who can be mad at them for that? You know what I mean?
Make Tropicana Field an outdoor stadium.
It's beautiful out there. Why not? And bring Juan Soto out there. Now, what's really, really fascinating about this storyline bump is that the Tampa Bay Rays are typically an organization that the Seattle Mariners have pointed to as a model for what they want to do because they don't spend a ton. They draft and develop and find, cheaper free agents and make these exceptionally smart signings and moves. This is a change of pace.
It is a change of pace, but this is going to the mall and window shopping. When you're a kid, you used to go to the mall, window shop, look at things we know we can't have. But we're looking at it. We're showing interest. We're walking to the store. We're looking at it on the rack. I know I can't afford this, but I'm going to look at it. We'll see if Tampa Bay is really in the mix like that. Right now, everyone is window shopping. Everyone is stopping at the Juan Soto store and saying, I like that. Let's go in and try it on. Let's see what this thing is all about. When really, there's only a few that can afford the Juan Soto. So it sounds good. Let's see if they really make a move.
When you said window shopping, I remembered when I worked in the mall, and I worked at a designer clothing and bag store, and they had mannequins in the window, and you had to like change the mannequins, and it was always this really like awkward thing where people would walk by and just stare at you, and you felt like you were in a zoo because you were up against the window. I don't know, just a weird experience changing the layout of a window in front of the store where people just kind of walk by and stare and just watch you as you're changing a mannequin.
What was the Juan Soto of the store you worked at?
Like the really expensive thing?
Yeah, what was the most expensive?
Fun fact, a Seahawks player ended up buying it for his wife.
Wow.
There was a Python handbag that was, I want to say, it was over $10,000. But I don't know how much exactly. But this was a store that had like a lifestyle brand that was expensive but more affordable, and then really nice stuff. And once in a while you'd get a guy that came in that was clearly like, he's like, I don't care what it is. Just show me the most expensive thing because I need to get my wife a present. And those were the ones where you were like, my whole day is made. Like
that just, commission, huh?
You know what I mean? Yeah, that was, I did not sell that. I was very jealous to the person who did, because that was some good commission. And they didn't even have to sell him on it. He just came in and said, what's the most expensive bag? And they pointed to the Python bag.
Man.
And he bought it on the spot.
Man, that made their month.
You know?
Yep.
And can you imagine if he gave it to his wife and she's like, I don't really love it.
You know what you do? You accidentally, air quotes, keep the price tag on that thing.
Yeah.
So be like, look, I know this is tacky. Usually you don't. You got to take that price tag off. But you don't know how much this costs
You
me.
never know. I did sell a guy a bag once that he wanted to give to his wife as a diaper bag. They had just had a baby, and he wanted to buy her a really nice, larger bag so that she could use it as a diaper bag, but it was a purse. So I sold him all this stuff, and he brought it back the next day, and he said, my wife said, take this back immediately.
Yeah, for a diaper bag, you don't need a high-end
You don't need it, but you should keep
bag.
it. Just do it. You guys ever work at the mall?
No. If Bump and I guess the player, will you tell us if we're correct?
I don't actually remember. He would not. He would have been on like the 2000. It would have been like 2011. 10. And I don't. It was not like a.
Not a.
It wasn't like a Richard
guy.
Sherman.
Okay.
Earl Thomas, like a guy who ended up staying there. But
we'll get to the bottom of this.
I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure it out. All right, you guys. The problem with free agency for the Mariners, John Morosi talks about some obstacles they're going to have to overcome, but a potential signing they could make. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
I think the Mariners, if you're not going to spend that money now and really not be a player for at least somebody in the Walker, Santander, Torres class of players, if you're not going to do that, then you might as well trade one of your starting pitchers right now, because you've proven already that you might be able to squeak into the playoffs with this current construction of the team, and you're setting yourself up to consistently come within 1 or 2 or 3 games of a playoff berth and fall short with the current construction of the ball club.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Say goodbye to clutter with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal service. Tune in to KIRO News Radio on Saturday, November 16th at 2 p.m. for Home Matters featuring Happy Hauler. Go to happyhauler.com, hauling with a heart.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee, so you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
It's comedian Tom Segura at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Friday, April 25th.
My kids call me Tom. So unnerving. Every day, the older one's like, how you doing, Tom? I go, hey, I'm not your f***ing stepdad, all right? I wish I was. It'd be a lot easier, but I'm not.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. One of today's biggest touring comedians. Tom Segura's Come Together Tour, April 25th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it, too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
Oh, no. Your furnace died. Your hot water heater's leaking. Your drains are clogged. Your AC's blowing hot air. Inconveniences? No. They're emergencies. Don't fear. Call DEAR. DEAR Services. Visit dearservices.net. Make an appointment, and we'll be there within 3 hours, or give you $100 credit. And get this, you will never pay a service fee. Bookmark DEARservices.net. Because if you're a homeowner, it'll happen to you someday. DEAR Services. There when you need us most.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check buckys.com for the location near you.
At Shane Company, we want you to be the holiday hero. We have so many ways to create unique, fine jewelry gifts. Give a ring or necklace with their favorite gemstone like amethyst or peachy morganite, one to match their eyes, or even pick out their favorite team colors. Customize our North Star charm with the gemstone of your choice for a reminder to follow their own path. Or create a personalized piece with zodiac, birthstone, and diamond letter charms. Visit us in store and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, well, we're just now getting into MLB's offseason, and everyone is watching to see where Juan Soto will sign. And until that happens, we're probably not going to see much happening because obviously you're waiting for that second wave to come after those huge signings. The Mariners bump, as we know, are unfortunately not going to be in it for Juan Soto.
What you mean?
I know.
What you mean? We're window shopping. Everybody's in it. Did you not hear what we talked about?
Like when
going
you look
to
at
the
your
mall
phone.
and you're looking.
Yeah, and you add stuff to your phone, the cart, and pretty soon your cart has 12 things that you're never going to buy, but you're just kind of making up scenarios in your head of where you'll wear this. Yeah. Well, that's the Mariners right now. But there is something that maybe they can afford to do. So let's talk first about John Morosi, who was on with Wyman and Bob, talking about the difficulties of free agency for the Mariners.
I do think that Seattle does, from an offensive perspective, they have a perception issue that they're going to have to deal with. And you could do it by, I think, incrementally improving your roster and making it a better offensive group to hit in. But the one way that's somewhat indisputable is the way that exactly 20 years ago, the way they brought in Richie Sexton and Adrian Beltre, which was they won the bidding not by a little, but by a lot.
So before we even get to the potential signing, he says that would be kind of fun for the Mariners. He says, look, free agency is difficult for the Mariners. We can all admit that because they're facing the perception that your offense will be hurt by going to Seattle.
Yeah, that because you look at the performances of guys who have been here. Teo, I'm happy for you. Guy won a home run derby, had a nice year over there with the Dodgers, and seemed happier. The bat seemed better. You look at Gino. Gino left, struggled for a little bit. He got hot, just signed a new deal with the Diamondbacks. There's something that goes on here in Seattle, and everyone's trying to figure it out. And it's almost like an urban legend. It grows just every single year. It's the batter's eye. It's the marine layer. It's the culture. The mound is off just a little bit. Like, there are so many things that people point to. So when rumors start going around and you keep hearing the same rumors, people start believing them. How do the Mariners get in front of this and support their claims that it's not the marine layer or the batter's eye with data, because baseball is such a data-driven type of sport. Like, what do you have to show these guys that you can come over here and perform? And not what hurts the situation even more is Julio's coming off a bad year. Still batted 273, which Riz pointed out yesterday. But he didn't have the year that we're expecting him to have. The only one who's pretty consistent is Cal, and we expect him to strike out a lot, not hit for average, but hit a bunch of bombs. And if that's your MO coming here, anybody can really do that, right? Strike out a bunch, not hit for average, hit some bombs. You need some guys to put the ball in play. So the longer batters struggle here in Seattle, the more unlikely it is that these ballers are going to want to come here unless you just give them an offer they can't refuse, which we feel like the Mariners will never do.
And they should. And there are teams, professional teams, collegiate teams all over the country that are in cities where you think, who would decide to go there? Bump, I'm going to keep calling you a 5-star recruit just because it's easier.
4.9.
It's much like how I'm 5'2". You were a 5-star recruit. You chose Washington State, and one of the most common questions we get, or used to get a lot during What I Need to Know, is like, why Washington State? Because I think it's fair to wonder, like, how did this really top-tier recruit from California end up choosing Pullman? Well, something about the culture, something about the coaches, something about the team spoke to you. The Mariners need to tap in to something that can speak to them on a positive light. Maybe you really project that you're a place where people have fun. Maybe you project that we're a place where we're going to overpay a little bit, which it doesn't sound like it. Maybe you start screaming from the mountaintops like no income tax, and whatever it is you need to do, you need to find something. Find something that you can have as your selling point, or you're not going to bring in those free agents, those recruits, anything.
Stacey, all of that sounds good. End of the day, why do athletes make moves? For money and for the opportunity to win. If they can't sell that, if they can't pay them, or they can't paint a picture that makes these top-notch type of players believe that they can win here, they will never come. They will never come. You have to start somewhere. So where do you start? You have a great rotation. Are you going to ship one of those guys off to entice someone else to come here, or to trade? That's the only way I think that this team can start is trade. Look, you ain't got no choice. You are coming to Seattle, and you got to get one of those trades to hit and to kind of change the way that this team is perceived. And then you can get things going. But to sit on here and bank, and it sounds good, Stacey, because I love having some fun. I'm thankful that I come here every day. I have fun with you guys. I love my job. I get to travel on the weekends, call football games. Like, it is fun. It is fun. But when you're in the pros, there's two things that motivate you: money and winning. The Mariners don't spend the money, and they have not won the way that we thought they could. So you got to lean on trades.
You ready to hear the name that John Morosi thinks could be a fit?
Let's do it.
I'll spoil it now that it is Bregman. It is Alex Bregman, but he thinks there are a few things working against them. So this is him explaining that he likes it, but that it's going to be a little tricky.
I think the Mariners are dealing with a couple things that might push against that a little bit. One is, I think you're right, that for Alex, because he has had to wear the brunt of a lot of the criticism along with Altuve, going back to the sign stealing scandal. And so that's a lot of years where Alex has heard boos in Seattle. I think that might in some way be an obstacle. But to me, the bigger obstacle here is that we have seen a lot of players who have gone to Seattle, and Mitch Garver being a recent example, as a free agent and not had great years.
Look, end of the day, Alex Bregman is willing to play second base, according to several MLB insiders. The Mariners need a second baseman. I don't care. I mean, obviously it'll be up to Alex, and John Morosi points out maybe he doesn't like Seattle. He's been booed there many times. From Seattle's point of view, I don't care. You need a good second baseman. Here's one right there.
Forget your feelings. Forget it. Do you want your team to get better? And I think this move makes your team better. I guarantee you, he's going to hear some boos if he were to come here, for sure. But I also think that as soon as he puts on that Mariners uniform and he starts performing the way we think that he can, then all is going to be forgiven. Not forgotten, but all will be forgiven.
Give it 3 home runs.
This is what you have to do, man. You go out there and perform, you're going to quiet everybody up. Just like Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson were performing at a high level in Cleveland, everybody would love him in Cleveland.
Yep.
But because of all the stuff he brought over, the horrible contract, and he's not performing, now they hate him. Performing and winning cures all. If Bregman were to come over here, hit that 26 to 30 bombs that he does, have an OPS of over, 800, hey, you're good to go.
Well, and you need this guy. Like, if a guy makes your team better, I frankly don't care. And I don't care if that makes me a hypocrite. In part, I don't like the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
And the Astros as an organization cheated. This guy was part of that team. If he came over here and made this team better, gladly look the other. No problem. No problem at all. I'm not booing this man. Not in the least. And so I don't know. I really like the idea of this. Let's talk about, though, what happens if the Mariners don't end up being big spenders. John Morosi issues a little bit of a warning.
If you're not going to spend that money now and really not be a player for at least somebody in the Walker, Santander, Torres class of player, if you're not going to do that, then you might as well trade one of your starting pitchers right now, because you've proven already that you might be able to squeak into the playoffs with this current construction of the team, and maybe you can win a round like they did against the Blue Jays, but you're not going to be able to beat a quality team like Houston in a playoff series or the version of them from a couple years ago, and you're setting yourself up to consistently come within 1 or 2 or 3 games of a playoff berth and fall short with the current construction of the ball clubs.
John Morosi is so polite that doesn't sound like a critique, but let me tell you, it is a fiery critique of the Mariners. He's basically saying, if you don't even spend in the second wave, if you don't go after the cheaper guys because you're that cheap, trade one of your starters now. Don't even wait, because you don't want to be a contender.
The messed up part about that is I feel like that is probably the only way at this point is to get rid of one of your starters. And as much as it would hurt this rotation, I think that there's enough firepower here to where they would be okay. They wouldn't be as potent as they were last year or the year before that, obviously. But I think you would be okay. But that's also a big risk. That's also going out on a limb and doing something that we're not traditionally used to seeing the Mariners do. So I don't expect them to do it, but that would be the smart move. If you want to get better instantly, you want to add some pop to that lineup, that's exactly what you do. But I also know that DePoto is fond of the rotation. This is what he does. He identifies arms and helps develop them. That's what this organization does. That's what's tough when you get into these situations. These are your babies. You brought them up, right? You nurtured them, and now you got to let them go, and you might not be ready to let them go. But on the baseball side, the business side, that is the quickest way to add some pop to your lineup.
From the 253, that's exactly what they want. The 253 says the Mariners want to be within 1 to 3 games at the end. They're completely okay with it. I don't think they are. I think they're okay with being close and playing close games. Like, I think they're okay with being like, we'll take a wild card. Sure, we'll squeak in there. I think they want to be dominant. Dominant teams sell a lot of tickets.
Yes, they do.
You sell a lot of merch. You can sell a lot of event space. I think that's what they want. The frustrating part, the intriguing part is, A, are they willing to take risks to do it? And B, are they willing to re-examine the way they've done it in the past? Like, if they think nothing about my way of building a team has been a mistake, it just has been bad luck, then that's a problem.
It feels that way. When we listen to them talk, at postseason interviews or whatnot, didn't get much this postseason. That's the feeling that we get, is that they feel like we just got unlucky. Our process is on point. We got the right guys. They just came here and didn't perform. And we've heard that same story for the past 3 seasons. They got to switch something up. Will they do it? I mean, that's the $1,000,000 question. We're asking the Seahawks to do it, and we're asking with the O-linemen, and we're asking the Mariners to do it when it comes to spending and bats.
I've got a damning take from Brian Baldinger on the Seahawks offensive line and a crazy stat from Robert Mays on Geno's interceptions. That's coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Daniel Jeremiah show every Wednesday with us here at 8:30. How many guys legitimately could come in here and play the position a whole lot differently than Geno has through 9 games?
I think you could find 10 quarterbacks that would be marginally better. I don't think anybody's going to thrive under that type of pressure. Watching this tape this last week, there were 4 or 5 plays where I wrote the word greedy. And some of that stuff is on him. If he's passing up completions and trying to be a little too greedy to get vertical down the field.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's the land of the free and the home of student drivers ready to back into your new fence at any given time. It's firing up a round of burgers and dogs on your rusty grill with a faulty gas line that engulfs your tool shed in flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. still get those orders shipped time, and still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open and happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Seattle is home to Swedish CyberKnife, a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. Compared with other radiation treatments, CyberKnife treatment is much shorter, typically 5 treatments. The vast majority of patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Swedish CyberKnife patients enjoy excellent cancer control rates and minimal disruption to normal activities. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
This city is like none other. In Seattle, we ball out.
Gino steps up, throws the slant. What a catch!
We stand on business.
Turns outfield. Got him under.
We unite 12 as one.
There he goes. DK.
And we get loud.
Touchdown! Seahawks!
Really loud. Because this city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
All right, guys, you looking for a fun night out? It's Mike Salk here to remind you that Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go, unwind, and have some fun, and to eat some great food. Make sure to check out 12 Moons. And then Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood has the amazing happy hour menu that starts at 4 p.m. And Falls Buffet, they're serving up all your favorites like the prime rib every day, the fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fry noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every day. All with breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. It is Seattle's closest, only 30 minutes from downtown, Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Don't let sinus problems, snoring, and allergies hold you back. I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatment to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get the relief you need easily, quickly, and permanently. Come see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Been in a wreck or a fender bender.
You have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Some interesting sound on the offensive line and a wild stat about Geno Smith's interception, so let's get to it. Brian Baldinger was on Brock and Salk this morning talking about what he sees up front for the Hawks. It's not great, but it is some good insight.
Well, I mean, they're not a strong group. I mean, they look like, outside of Charles, who struggled also at times this year, they look like backups. That's what they look like right now. I mean, I've known Lakin's a long-time player in this league. He starts every game, never gets hurt. He's a quality player, but, he's on his, fourth team now right now. But, they got backups in there right now, and Ryan Grubb is a deep ball thrower. He wants to push the ball down the field, and those guys aren't holding up in order to run that style of offense right now.
Look, this isn't necessarily news to anyone listening. It's more validation, asking different NFL experts, what do you see with the offensive line? And Bump, when every single person starts to say the same thing, like I've yet to see someone who's like, honestly, I think the offensive line's really good, and Geno and Grubb just aren't making it work.
No one has said that. No one has whispered that. No one has tweeted that. None of that there. I think that's where everyone can kind of come together, is that everyone realizes that Geno is operating behind a subpar offensive line, yet when he does make these mistakes, it's almost like they forget about that's part of the situation. He has made some mistakes. And I was sitting here during the break trying to figure out, all right, Geno has what, 9 picks? 10 picks. 10 picks, okay? I found 4 that for sure were not his fault.
Okay.
You got Zach Charbonnet, the tip pass, I believe, against Miami.
Yep.
They only got 3 points off of that. JSN this past week, the tip pass.
Yes.
DK running the wrong route against the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
A.J. Barner being grabbed in this last game.
Oh, so you took 2 away from this last
game. 2 from this last game.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I believe 2 of those were not his fault. He's throwing it to the place where A.J. Barner is going to be, not where he is. That's how you throw the football. And with JSN, that was on him. All right, so let's say he now has 6 interceptions. And I'm pretty sure there's one more in there. I just can't really think about it right now. But let's just say he has 6 interceptions, and he has how many
11.
touchdowns? 11. We feel a lot better about that situation. Why were these passes intercepted? It was nothing that Geno did. Nothing. If I were to go back and watch that play with A.J. Barner, I'll tell him, that's your read. You throw that football. Unfortunately, there's a PI, didn't get called. If I'm looking at the DK interception, DK, if he runs the right route to dig, I'm good with that decision. I'm looking at the tip pass to JSN. I'm good with that decision. He was avoiding a safety. I'm good with that decision. I look at the JSN, good decision. I'm good. So the decision-making on those 4 plays alone, I think, are fine. The execution was fine on his end. I think on the other end, it got jacked up. But he's got to own it. He's the quarterback. Yeah. You take full responsibility of it. So and then, I'm sure if I went back and looked for more, I could find some other reasons why the football was intercepted. But there have been some throws that were not intercepted that I felt like could have been intercepted for Geno too.
That's what was confusing to me. Okay, so I'm going to get to this sound already. This is a wild stat from Robert Mays, who was on with us yesterday about Geno Smith's interceptions.
But I still don't think the interception totals, even on Sunday, are indicative of what sort of ball we've seen Geno play this year. If you look at PFF, he has 10 turnover-worthy plays, and I think his bottom 8 in turnover-worthy play percentage. He has 10 picks on those 10 turnover-worthy throws. That's hard to do. Like, that requires a level of bad luck that I think not enough people are taking into consideration when they look at the box scores. Down to down, this guy is one of the reasons that this offense is even able to stay afloat.
So Geno has 10 turnover-worthy throws all season and 10 interceptions. I was looking at this going, there's no way all 10 of those turnover-worthy throws were intercepted, because I've seen dropped interceptions from defenders playing Geno. So what I'm wondering is if some of Geno's interceptions, they didn't even count as turnover-worthy throws. That's the only way it makes sense. Either way, Robert Mays highlighting exactly what you did, that some of these plays are bad luck, and that 11 touchdown, 10 interception ratio that people keep pointing to with Geno isn't actually indicative of his play. Like, if you were just to look at the box score, it does not tell you the story of the line he's playing behind or the bad luck he's had.
No, it doesn't. And that's what's hard about stats is that they only give you like a certain snapshot of the picture, right? You're just getting like one little pixel of this big picture, and you do what you want with that information. Like the 206 is saying, bro, who threw the ball? Of course we know who threw the dang ball. All right, but who's protecting? Did the receiver tip the ball? Did he catch the rock? Was the ball in a good position? In all the scenarios I pointed out, the ball was in the right place. He made the right read. It's just unlucky. Something happened that influenced the play. I'm not saying Geno's a perfect quarterback. He's thrown some footballs that should have been intercepted. I can think of 3 or 4 right now where I'm thinking, ooh, you got lucky. You got away with that one. So it's funny that that's not popping up on that stat that you just threw up there. And who are the people who are configuring these stats as well? How do they see the game?
A bunch of nerds.
What do they consider a ball that should have been intercepted? You know, because I'm thinking of a few of my own that should have been intercepted, and those aren't popping up. So it's stats. Stats are an interesting thing. I think you have to rely on, if you do have the resource, to talk to people who really study the game and talk to quarterbacks. Like when I have a quarterback question, I've coached the position, I played the position, but I'm always going to go to someone who's done it at a higher level. I'll text Brock all the time. Brock, what are you seeing here? Even my quarterback from college, Alex Brink, who's one of the voices of the Cougs, I'll text him, what are you seeing here? Stats don't tell the whole picture, whether it be positive and negative. I think stats don't tell the whole positive with Geno. I think stats don't tell the whole negative with Geno. But it's up to you to kind of decipher what you see on the field and how it connects to those numbers.
How do the quarterbacks that you know, and I know these conversations are all off the record, but in general, how do the quarterbacks you know and speak to feel about Geno?
I think they feel he is extremely calm in the pocket, that he throws a pretty football, usually puts it in the right spot. But they also say that as of late, they feel like he's feeling that pressure to have to execute and make the tough throw. So he's holding the football a little bit longer than he would and taking some chances. But they see him as a competent quarterback in this league, and you are getting a heck of a bargain at $25 million a year for him.
Let's bring on NFL Network's Greg Rosenthal and figure out how he's feeling about Geno and the Seahawks next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There was some hope that perhaps they would address the O-line issues at the trade deadline. They did not.
I didn't expect that there was going to be a lot of offensive linemen out there. Just because, it's so hard to find good offensive linemen. You just kill for that right now, right? I mean, for the Seahawks, especially with all the injuries at right tackle. So that was my perception, that nobody wants to trade good offensive linemen, that they're just such a premium.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Upgrade your furnace or heat pump with Home Comfort Alliance. And for a limited time, save up to $4,000 in combined rebates or enjoy 12 months same as cash, no interest financing on a new Lennox system. Call the comfort people, homecomfortalliance.com.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And Shannon, we're not just rehabbing injuries anymore. Now we're in the business of speed and performance. Talk to me.
Yeah, Brock, we're really excited. We just opened up our IRG Physical Therapy and Sports Institute in Fremont. It's 5,000 square feet of AstroTurf rubberized flooring. We're not only going to treat your physical therapy conditions, but we're also going to help you as a patient athlete, a recreational athlete, work on strength, speed, explosion, vertical explosion, horizontal explosion. I mean, we're going to create an athlete out of you and get you back to activity at your best.
What was the genesis of this?
Oh, there's a huge need out there. I mean, you talk to people and you start looking at patients that are going through rehab. Rehab is just part of the process, getting people to a point, but then the next point is really doing the strength and function explosion and the athletic training skills that everybody wants and needs.
Schedule online right now at irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about the bar. Not where you get drinks. I'm talking about the bar exam. That rigorous beast that's required to practice law. You've got to pass it, but not anymore. Soon students can pass on the bar exam instead of passing it. Can you imagine unlicensed electricians burning down the house? Plumbers? Yuck. Dentists? Ouch. Fortunately, all our lawyers have passed the bar exam with flying colors. And with that comes over 300 5-star reviews, over 30 years in business, and a 90% success rate getting cases reduced or dismissed. So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. The world is changing fast. Rely on the best in the business. Bar none.
1-800-DUI-AWAY. This is Brock Ewart. If you're retired or retiring soon and concerned about the future, call Tila Mortgage today to find out the benefits of a reverse mortgage. Tila's been locally owned and trusted right here in the Seattle Metro for over 25 years. Just ask yourself, do I settle for retirement that just gets me by? I say no. Tila will see if you can retire more comfortably with a home equity conversion mortgage. They can help you refinance your current mortgage and convert a portion of your home's equity into a line of credit, providing benefits like no monthly mortgage payments or cash back to pay off bills, do home improvement projects, or build up a cash reserve for safety and peace of mind. Plus, you get to keep your home. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
One of the NFL's best teams is getting even healthier. Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell is expected to be elevated from the PUP list in time for tonight's Thursday night game against the Bengals. We're all watching to see where Juan Soto will land as the top free agent this winter, but don't expect an answer anytime soon. His agent, Scott Boras, spoke to the general manager's meetings yesterday and said it's going to be a very thorough process for Soto, and he wants to meet with people personally and talk with them before making a decision.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Keeping it moving, but sticking with the Seahawks. Joining us now, it's NFL Network's Greg Rosenthal on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hi, Greg. How's it going?
How are you doing? Very well.
I wish that the Seahawks had a winning record or had been like one of the biggest surprises, because it would be so fun to talk about them. But I still find them to be an interesting team, and I know that you do, just because they have a new head coach and there's some interesting players and pieces here. So I am going to start with the Seahawks, but we'll take a look around the rest of the league too. What have you made so far of the Seahawks offense this year?
It's not as consistent as you would want to be. It's not as diversified. You wouldn't have expected the run blocking to be this bad. And and the pass protection to be this bad. So it's very frustrating. I thought, I was very excited about Ryan Grubb. You have to be a little concerned about their ability to coach up an offensive line because coaching is so important there. And yet I know there's like a lot of panic there because of all the losses that they've had lately. I still think you look at what they've done to this point of the season, like they have a chance. If you told me they end up in the playoffs, I still think that is very much on the table. The NFL season is very long, and you guys would probably be feeling a little differently if you came out on top in that overtime game. Where I thought they outplayed the Rams for most of the game.
This offensive line, we're sticking with the line, right? That's the biggest issue here in Seattle. Can you think of a situation where you have a veteran quarterback, the offensive line isn't great, yet they find a way to still win games, put things together, and get into the playoffs? I'm searching for just any glimmer of hope, Greg.
Certainly, it's possible. The defense is going to need to be the difference. I think you could get the running game to a more respectable level. I mean, the plays that stuck out to me last week was just not being able to pick up that 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 in overtime. And we've seen that so often. That was a game where they actually did get the running game going a little better. So, yes, I think Geno has made up for the offensive line quite a bit in terms of dealing with quick pressure. I mean, he threw a lot of darts in that game last week. I thought overall he played pretty well. I know you can't have that many interceptions, but a couple of them had extenuating circumstances. So I do think there's a route to doing it, but they're also not going to become a good offensive line anytime soon. That's going to be a weakness that's going to cost them eventually, even if they do make the playoffs. But it's really about the defense. Can the defense be stable week to week, be a better than average defense? If that happens, then I think they can beat anyone.
Greg, you mentioned they're not going to be a great offensive line anytime soon, and it's because and Bump knows, and I know and my mom knows that they need to draft more talent, right? So obviously we're looking ahead a couple years. Bump and I opened the show by talking about some teams that have managed to turn their fortunes around relatively quickly and how they did it. And we looked at drafting and hitting on draft picks as a big part of that. When you look around the league, is there a team that has done something, probably a few things, that's led to a quick turnaround that you're especially impressed by?
I mean, the Bucks in their offense and offensive line, like thinking just offensive line first, and they have invested draft picks. And they've stayed patient. Some of those players struggled a little bit as rookies, and then they kept them in the lineup and stayed on. The Steelers have drafted a couple guys who I think are going to be really good, Zach Frazier, and then Fontana, who's been hurt. So you're right. For the most part, it's a combination. Like some teams, some offensive line coaches can get guys you never heard of playing cohesively and at a pretty high level. Those guys are as valuable as any assistant coaches in the entire league. There's only a handful of them. The Seahawks don't seem to have one right now. But the Bucs are one team where their offensive line was an issue for years and years, and they really stuck to it, put a lot of draft picks into it over the last few years. And I'm looking at it. It's 2nd and 1st round picks, and 4 of them are starting on their offensive line over the last couple of years.
This division is crazy. I'm waiting to see when Christian McCaffrey comes back. The Rams have figured some things out, and then the Cardinals. I don't know much about the Cardinals, and I don't know what to believe about the Cardinals. They're first in the division. Seems like Kyler Murray is playing some good football. I forgot who we spoke to the other day. They pointed out he's only 27 years old. He's just entering his prime as a quarterback. What impresses you the most about the Cardinals, and do you feel like they might be able to hold off and possibly win this division?
It's going to be tough. I think the Rams and 49ers are more likely. They just have the coaching, the firepower, the quarterbacks. The 49ers, to me, are still the favorites. But I think the Cardinals have shown they can beat any team. They're a really good schematic team on both sides of the ball. Not a lot of talent on their defense, and that's what I think is going to catch up to them. But they throw such crazy stuff at opposing offenses in terms of the blitzes and the way they move their players around and the way they trust their linebackers that it seems to scramble opponents enough, especially substandard offenses. The problem is in the NFC West, this is the best division of quarterbacks, and I think offensive schemes in the entire league. So you're not going to fool Stafford and Kyle Shanahan and Geno that often. But they've been in games where they've been down 10 points and they come back in the fourth quarter. And Kyler and that running game is a lot to prepare for. So I think if they're going to win 9 games, let's say, and maybe get a wild card, it's because their running game is legit. It's a good offensive line. They run a couple different schemes at you in terms of their outside zone and their power running. And James Conner and Kyler are kind of like the poor man's Lamar and Derrick Henry. They're not all the way there, but they're a lot to prepare for in terms of what they can do on the ground.
They're like the Kroger brand. I don't know if that's on the coast where you are, but speaking of the Cardinals, they're about to play the Jets. The Seahawks will face the Jets later this year. So not only are they interesting as an upcoming opponent, but I just find them fascinating this year. Greg, I thought that they'd be so much better. What's been going on?
Yeah, they've been a disappointing team. Which team? Sorry, I missed what you said.
The Jets.
Stacey. Yes, they aren't done yet at 3-6. I didn't have them in the playoffs going in because I just thought this is adding a lot of different pieces, and it's really hard to stay that consistent defensively year after year. I actually think that's been like the quiet disappointment there is that without Hassan Reddick, their pass rush has not been good. They're an easy team to run on. They're a fascinating matchup this week against the Cardinals. Those are two teams that you don't know what to make of facing off against each other. But more than anything, they can't protect Aaron Rodgers, and he's not the same Aaron Rodgers that he used to be. Like he's much closer to the 2022 version, which really wasn't that effective for the Packers either, except without a lot of mobility. So you see great throws, and it's kind of like Kirk Cousins, but you don't see the movement. He doesn't want to hold the ball, and that was part of Aaron Rodgers' magic for so many years. So he's a good quarterback. Like I would say he's better than average, but he's not a special quarterback anymore. So you combine that with a defense that just hasn't been as tough as they used to be.
Rookie quarterbacks are always fascinating. Typically, I don't expect much out of them. Bo Nix has been up and down. Caleb Williams the same. Jaden Daniels has been doing his thing. Minus Jaden Daniels, we know that he's having himself a good year. What other rookie quarterback, do you feel is close to kind of getting through that threshold and really settling down and becoming himself and possibly the leader for the next, 4 or 5 years for their franchise?
I'm sold on Drake May. Maybe it's confirmation bias. I thought he was like 1A with Caleb Williams coming into the draft, and Jaden Daniels has proved everyone wrong on that front because he's an MVP candidate. Jaden Daniels is playing so well. But what we've seen out of Drake May in a truly terrible situation is a reminder for me what I believe, which is that the situation matters so much. And that can absolutely be true, and he's not going to lift this team yet. If he's the right guy, I think if you're able to watch the tape, you can tell he's the right guy, even in the worst possible situation. Because this is the worst line in the league. I think they're as poorly coached as any team in the league. They don't have any talent at wide receiver. And yet, on a play-to-play basis, you watch him and you see a potential Josh Allen type of player. It's going to take some years, and they're not going to have that production unless they do a better job around him. But to me, it's obvious he's going to be a dude. Now, is he a dude that's like the 10th or 12th best quarterback in the league with lots of flashy plays, or can he be better than that? I don't know. But to me, I already feel very confident that he's going to be a dude.
I'm really excited for Thursday Night Football. It feels like having dessert before dinner or something. It's like we're getting two really great quarterbacks facing off in prime time. What are you looking forward to most with this matchup? And I'd love to hear, kind of what you think about the Bengals season, especially because Burrow's played so well. They just haven't been winning.
Yeah, their defense has been such a disappointment, and he's had to be a superhero, and he has been, and then they've had a couple games where they have the ball late, and whether it's the defense or even sometimes it's the offense, they've made mistakes, so they're so much better than their 4-5 record. That first game they played was 41-38. That's typical of what I'm talking about. Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns in that game, and yet it was the one interception that he threw, one of the few mistakes he's made all season. He had to be perfect, and he wasn't on a day where ultimately, the Ravens put up 41 points. I think they need to win this game. A loss puts them at 4-6. They're in primetime again next week against the Chargers. And Burrow is as frustrated as any player in the league right now, I think, because he's finally been healthy, and yet they haven't been able to string together the wins that he expects. They don't have T. Higgins for this game. They may or may not have their left tackle, Orlando Brown. So those are two big losses if he's out. And yet, I wouldn't put anything past him. He was pretty fired up this week, talking about how the NFL put him back in primetime, the scene of the crime in Baltimore where he suffered his injury last year in primetime as well. So, I don't know, man. That guy's rage, I feel, could fuel, like, the entire team, and they get an upset win tonight.
Young receivers, right? I asked about young quarterbacks. Let's talk about young receivers. I feel like this position out of a lot of them, or most of them, these guys are coming in ready to go. It's a different breed coming in. They grew up in this 7-on-7 culture. They have access to all this stuff. Which rookie receivers have impressed you the most, and is there a sleeper in there, being that last rookie class was so deep?
Yeah, I mean, I think Malik Neighbors, he just pops off the tape in terms of, you look at the wide receivers from this class that just translate the second they got into the NFL. Like, he gets open so easily, and I think he's been fantastic. He's just stuck in a tough situation. Ladd McConkey's really come on for the Chargers, probably as, I don't know if he's a sleeper or what, but a very steady week-to-week guy that's going to, I think, have a long career, be a 1,000-yard receiver. And then Brian Thomas for the Jaguars. I actually think if I had to choose one guy who's just been the best, it's probably been Brian Thomas Jr., but again, stuck in a bad situation, but has everything you look for in a true number one receiver, like a faster Mike Evans. Not like he's going to be Mike Evans, but just a guy who's a little more complete than you expected coming into the NFL.
Hey, Greg, I'm going to ask you a question that is slightly less fun, but just as important. We are looking at a lot of 2-win teams in the league right now, some of them surprising, some of them unsurprising, but it makes the shuffle for the top pick in the NFL draft in 2025 really fascinating because some of these teams are going to be in the market for a quarterback. Is there a 2-win team or a team that's, in the running for the top pick that you think, will take that quarterback and maybe it'll be especially interesting to you?
Well, the Raiders are, I think, not purposely tanking, but I think it's going to end up working out that way.
Like
and
tanking wink.
Right. I mean, Antonio Pierce is not tanking because I think he has reason to believe that he could lose his job after 1 year. They already made him fire his offensive coordinator, or he decided to fire his offensive coordinator. Either way, it's a bad sign. Tennessee, I think, is using this year as an evaluation of Will Levis. Certainly, it's more like which teams aren't looking for quarterbacks. The Saints and the Giants are certainly in that mix. And so this isn't a class where it's going to be the super obvious 1-2. Like, I think if Drake May was in this class, for instance, he would be the obvious number one. And last year he ended up being the 3. So it's not as good a year to go get a quarterback. And the Patriots, who might have the number one pick, might end up feeling pretty good with it because they could either trade it or they can, build out with more draft picks. Yeah.
What report card would you give Mike McDonald so far this year? Obviously, you're not in the facility, the meeting rooms, and all that good stuff. But from your perspective, how do you think he's doing?
He's a C. The defense has been more erratic than I would have expected considering the talent. I do think he's helping develop, and some of those young players on the defensive line look good. I think the linebacker decisions they made in the offseason just have really not worked out for them and has changed everything. And on offense, in terms of his, coaching and the decisions he made hiring Ryan Grubb, it's just the line. But I don't think they've been, if you told me before the season they were 4-5, that sounds about right. Their over-under was, 6.5 or 7.5? I like the over for that. I still do. They've just been a little more erratic overall, a little sloppy in terms of the penalties and some of the decisions. But overall, I'm not that worried about Mike McDonald long term. I think you got to give him a little time to install his culture, his defense. And so if you ask me at the end of the season and they've still been this erratic, it would be a lower grade, but I expect it to get better in the second half of the year.
Greg Rosenthal is the host of the NFL Daily Podcast, available wherever you listen to your podcasts. It is wonderful listening, obviously available every day. Lots of great guests, too. Also, don't forget Giants-Panthers air Sunday at 6:30 a.m. Pacific on NFL Network from Munich. Thanks so much, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Stacey. Thanks, Michael.
See ya. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, the Seahawks worked out 4 tight ends this week. Tell us about them, and what does it mean for the position group?
So we know Noah Fant is banged up. Word on the street is he's not going to the IR. So this is a temporary fix is what they're trying to do. And who knows if they sign these guys. But N'Keal Harry, remember that guy? He was actually a receiver.
Yeah, a bust.
He was drafted before our guy, DK Metcalf. And so he's moved to the tight end spot. He's put on some pounds. If you get N'Keal Harry, you're looking for a pass catcher. Typically, receivers aren't the greatest blockers when you put them in the box and ask them to block big on big. We shall see. Other one, Trey McKitty, heck of a name. 2021 third-round pick to Chargers. He's more of a blocking tight end, only 16 receptions in his career. Then you have Tyree Jackson, who was actually a quarterback and played for the Giants for a little bit at the tight end spot. You have Garrett Prince. He's a practice squad guy. He was with the Jags and the Chiefs. What are you looking for at this point? If you're looking for help in the run game, then you have to go with Trey McKitty. He's more the blocking tight end. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a pass catching tight end? Then you go with N'Keal Harry, but you're going to take away some of the pass blocking. Either way it goes, I think these are moves that are just going to be temporary. Whenever Noah Fant is ready to go, one of these guys are going to be, if they're signed, deactivated or dropped to a practice squad. This isn't a long-term thing, but this is what the Seahawks have to do, because you look at that room, you still have Brown, Barner, and Russell. I think Barner is emerging as the future when it comes to the tight end spot here, especially if Noah Fant comes back and he's not healthy and has to take some plays off. I like the progression of Barner, but those are the guys you bring in. This is something that happens every single week in the NFL. A guy gets hurt, you bring in some temporary replacements, you see how they do, but you don't expect much out of them. It's all depends on what they're looking for and how often they're going to use these guys, if at all.
Man, N'Keal Harry, something about N'Keal Harry made me so sad for him with the Patriots.
Bad situation.
Like, it's just, I remember, like, there were like videos that people had being like, Tom Brady hates this dude. And they spoke glowingly about each other publicly. So who knows if that was true, but I just felt so bad. Like, imagine struggling within the Patriots when Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were still there. Pressure. Second down. Every team is looking for a return in their investment when it comes to players and their contracts. Do you feel the Seahawks are getting that from their most expensive investments? Ooh, good question.
So I just looked at the top 8 guys getting paid, and we're going to talk about, are you getting a return? One, you got Geno at $25 million a year when it comes to his annual. He's the second lowest paid starter in this league. Sam Darnold getting $10 million a year on a little rental thing. I think you're getting a return in that investment. $25 million for a starter. He's putting up numbers. You broke down his him being unlucky when it comes to turnovers. I will take what Geno has given us for $25 million. He needs to perform a bit better if he wants to get paid more. I think his cap is probably going to be $35 million when he hits the market. We shall see if the Seahawks are willing to do that. DK Metcalf, next, $24 million a year. He's the 13th highest paid receiver when it comes to annual. He's performing like a top 10 receiver right now. Yes, we've missed him for the past couple of weeks, but before he went out, he was top 5 in receptions. Most 20-plus yard receptions in a game. I think you're getting a return. Now, Big Cat, this is always the toughest one to evaluate. Interior lineman, who you're not going to get a lot of stats from. He's the 17th highest defensive lineman in the game. He has the 9th best bull rush when it comes to PFF. Take it what you want, all right? But you're getting some success there. I think you're getting what you paid for. Dre Jones is the tough one. 25th highest paid at his position, and you haven't seen much of him. He's been banged up. He has one good game, one mediocre game. There's no consistency there. I think Dre Jones is going to have to take another step if you want to feel like you're getting what you paid for. Uchenna, you're not, just because he's not available. Simple as that. If he was there, who knows? You got J Love at $11 million. I think you're good. Spoon at $7. I think you're good. And Tyler Lockett at $15. That's also a tricky one. He's not producing like a guy who's getting paid $15 million a year, but you know that he's good for a big play. Before the half, you need a touchdown. Boom, Tyler Lockett. He's a guy that kind of just waits in the cut. Everybody shoots their shot. He walks by, makes her laugh. He leaves where everyone's talking about, how did he do that? That is Tyler Lockett. So I think for the most part, if you look at what they're getting paid, you can say, yeah, but there are 2 or 3 guys who need to step up a bit.
Third down. What will DK be able to do now that JSN has emerged as a game breaker?
I can't wait to see this, because they're running combinations with JSN that I haven't seen them necessarily run with DK Metcalf. I think before DK went down, Grubb was essentially just using JSN inside the 40, and when you're taking shots, but inside the 20s, he's that underneath guy. I think now you can switch it up. JSN has shown, I can beat guys deep. He's not going to beat you by 2 or 3 steps. That's not his game. But he's creating space, getting outside, and getting deep. Now you can slide DK in the slot. Because when the season started, we saw DK moving in the slot and doing some things. He still does that, but not at the same clip as, obviously, a Jason or a Tyler Lockett. I think with Jason showing that he can handle being a deep threat, you can move DK inside and play some mind games with these guys. I like that Jason has had room to grow. That last week was perfect for him. Unfortunately, it came during a loss, but because it's on film, he's a threat. You can move DK around, get him underneath, get him running with the football. I would love to see DK get the ball in a shallow cross and just get busy. Get him running, get him going. You can play some mind games now.
Fourth down. what position can take a step forward and help the defense?
I think you and I were satisfied with the progression of this defensive line.
Yeah.
They looked good last week. Did not get a sack, but it's all good. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. What that's going to do is force the quarterback to throw the football up. We got Reek Woolen with an interception last week. Kobe Bryant could have had an interception, and then Reek could have had one at the end of the game. With the D-line getting this pressure, it's all about that back end being sticky. I'm looking at PFF. It's a bye week. Bear with me, okay? I'm looking at all the stats that I can.
Let him do what he needs
trying
to.
to give y'all something, okay? So I'm looking at PFF, and it came to a list where they said the DBs that allow the least separation. We got all the way down to like the 35th DB before one of ours popped up, and that was Julian Love. They say 50% of the time he's sticky. So if this defense continues to grow on that defensive line, if those backers continue to be stout in the run game like Ernest Jones was last week, the back end has got to go. This is how you create the most turnovers rapidly, is when you force a quarterback to toss a football up and you attack the football out the air. The back end has all the talent in the world. Love me some Reek. Love me some Spoon. Love me some J-Love. And our guy Kobe Bryant is making some noise. The back end can help take this team to another level. They got to get it done.
I love that resurgence for Kobe Bryant because he really, it was an embarrassment of riches situation. You know what I mean? Where you go, I feel like this guy could help and could make noise and could have a chance to develop, but there's just people in front of him, and some of those people, Witherspoon at the time, are number 5 overall picks. So they move him to safety. Maybe he can do something there. Sign Rayshawn Jenkins, who takes that spot. You're competing with Kayvon Wallace. It was like just someone who didn't have a home.
Yeah.
And it's been nice to see him get what are going to be limited opportunities and make the most of them.
For sure.
Good for him.
Big ups. I think I forgot to mention Farrell Brown. I did. I said Brown, Burner, Russell. Yeah. So, yeah, don't forget about Brown.
So someone was asking about Farrell Brown, and I literally was like, is he on IR?
No, he's out there.
Yeah. This past weekend, it sure looked like a star wide receiver walked off the field frustrated during a play, not for the Seahawks. He tried to explain himself afterwards. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
I think the Mariners, if you're not going to spend that money now and really not be a player for at least somebody in the Walker, Santander, Torres class of players, if you're not going to do that, then you might as well trade one of your starting pitchers right now, because you've proven already that you might be able to squeak into the playoffs with this current construction of the team, and you're setting yourself up to consistently come within 1 or 2 or 3 games of a playoff berth and fall short with the current construction of the ball club.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
0% financing. Yes, Mazda of Everett is offering 0% financing. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-5s. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-30s. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-50s. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-90s. Shop over 600 new Mazdas, available with 0% financing. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and click Get the Mazda of Everett price. MazdaofEverett.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like wipers. If your wipers are streaking, skipping, chattering, or even worse, loud, you need to visit AutoZone and get some fresh new blades. We've got basic wipers to get you back on the road, as well as premium blades from Bosch and Rain-X. So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a MyLowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
And with over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is back with us for yet another year, and we're so grateful for Don, Jordan, and Brandon for allowing us to tell their story. Local family business, excellent work, all rooted in trust. You can find them at riversideroofingllc.com, the roofing company you can trust.
Shane Company is your go-to destination for high-quality fine jewelry gifts. Come find beautiful gifts at competitive prices, from dream engagement rings to tennis bracelets, engravable charms, and more. All in stock and ready to give. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
You're losing your hair and you want a simple solution that works, and you want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parango and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, they were recently crowned 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185, 425-449-8185. If you qualify, get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timelines. So let's get to it. Our first story here. You guys all remember the viral sensation, Olympic pariah, Australian breakdancer Ray Gunn. Okay, everyone remembers her moves. She was a really popular Halloween costume this past year. Did you see any Ray Guns when you had your trick-or-treaters?
I was working.
Oh, right. You did not get a day off for
Bellevue
Halloween.
Square, there were a bunch of little kids running around. Didn't see
No
any
ray
of them.
guns?
Nah.
What was the most common costume?
I saw a ray gun.
You saw a ray gun?
NASA Chobe's wife, Jessie,
Okay.
she was ray gun.
That is perfect.
It was a great
I bet
costume.
she pulled that off for sure.
Ray Gunn is unfortunately retiring. She says she's no longer dancing competitively after the backlash she got from her Olympic performance.
Did you do the Olympics again? Would you, if
No.
that, yeah, if you wouldn't do it again. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you're going to continue to break?
I still break, but
Yeah.
I don't compete.
You
I'm
won't
not going to
compete again.
compete anymore. No.
Was that ever? What was the thoughts going into the Olympics? Was it to keep doing this?
Yeah,
forever?
I was going to keep competing for sure, but that seems really difficult thing for me to do now to approach a battle.
To keep push forwarding.
Yeah, I mean, I still dance and I still break, but you know that's like
Is it the thought?
in my living room with my partner.
I almost feel bad for her. I mean, there's no reason to make anyone like a villain, but like you signed up to do it. So it's not like someone had a hidden camera.
Couple things. They're talking about not having breakdancing at the next Olympics because of this fiasco. 2, I don't think she would qualify if she tried to make the Olympics again. So, yeah, your best bet is just to, I think she's a dance teacher. She's a professor at a university, and she gave us a couple good laughs. I couldn't believe that when I saw it, and I watched it live. I was excited for breakdancing.
You watched it live?
I don't know how to breakdance myself. I don't know how to judge it, but I saw her and I go, that don't look right. That does not look right.
I saw Raygun as a meme the first time. Like there were GIFs and memes and videos and jokes all over my timeline, and then I was introduced to it with like someone posted something saying, I can't believe this is real. You watched it live?
So not live, but you know how they re-aired for us.
Okay, yeah.
So it was
like
live
highlights.
to me, No, it was like the full competition. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, Australia, let's see what you got. And I didn't see any memes or nothing. I saw that. First I saw the way she was dressed and I go, that doesn't look like a breakdancer.
Red flags already. I can't imagine watching an iconic moment like that just unfolding in front of you where it goes from, okay.
Then I thought I was wrong. I go, maybe I don't know breakdancing. Maybe, maybe I'm not qualified.
She gaslit you. Moving on, it was one of the stranger sights on Sunday when Bears wide receiver DJ Moore walked off the field mid-play during Chicago's loss to Arizona. He had a chance to explain himself today.
Tweaked ankle. I was coming back because I seen Caleb scrambling and like ankle went in and out. I was already couldn't stop, so my momentum took me out of bounds, and then I just walked off. Which the noise, I hear it, seeing it, really didn't care. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. The question though, Bump, do you believe it?
His answer tells you everything.
Can I play it one more time at the very beginning and then I'll pause it?
Tweaked ankle.
I am Ron Burgundy. Look, I'm looking at the play right now.
Yeah.
Caleb is rolling to the left.
Okay.
He's on the sideline. He does do a little skip as if he did tweak the ankle, but Caleb is still running around. He's running for his life, and my man just walks off. Imagine Caleb rolling to the left side and seeing DJ like, okay, DJ. Okay, no, DJ. Let me roll back to the other side. I played an Apple Cup with a high ankle sprain. I'm limping around this field. You don't just walk off the field.
No.
You got to be carried off the field. Come on, man. Have some heart and then work on your reaction. You have to be able to answer this in a way that makes us believe it was your ankle. If you look at the film, he does the little ankle hop like, oh, my ankle. But you don't just run off the field or walk off the field.
I don't have kids. You guys do. Curtis, yours are still a bit too little, but Bump, I'm sure that you've experienced your kids going through the stage of lying unconvincingly.
Oh, my God. Can I tell you my son? Oh, my God. I caught him red-handed. Oh, it was glorious.
What happened?
So I'm in my office doing some work, and he's playing video games in the little downstairs living room, right? And I'm like, bro, it's like 11 o'clock. He's got to be asleep. So I pop out around 11:15. I go to knock on his door, and he hits me with the, hello? And then magically his alarm is going off now. And I go, he opens the door. I go, bro, what? Come on, bro. You're just playing video games. You are not asleep. What do you mean, Dad? And I go, come on. And then all of a sudden your alarm goes off, and then he breaks character, starts laughing. I go, bro, don't be lying, man. You were playing video games. I got to tell your mom because you lied to me.
You said, what were you doing in there? Sleeping?
Tweaked ankle.
The question inflection at the end of it.
Man.
He's searching for an excuse.
Searching.
At least he came clean, though. You know?
His reaction came clean. He didn't say, okay, you got me. He just started laughing.
He just broke character, and he was like, I can't. Next up, Cleveland radio host Ken Carman completely lost it on a caller who accused him of not being critical enough of Bears management.
What about the Hasms?
I'm not saying the Hasms don't want to spend money. I never said that.
I know you didn't. So what? I said on to the Hasms. What do you want to say?
I said you need to get rid of them. They don't know how to spend money. They can spend all the money they want. They don't know what they're doing with it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sick of going in this revolving circle of mediocrity. They don't know how to identify talent. In the front office, they don't know how to identify talent. They hired guys that know what they do. They got a baseball guy in the front office.
And I never signed off on that myself, Greg.
Well, then that's what you need to do is raise your voice and get this guy
Just sit there. You think I haven't said to get rid of Paulie Modesto over the last 10 years? Are you nuts? Are you nuts, Greg? I've never once said that I didn't trust Paulie Modesto over the last decade.
Is Chris Farley a radio host in Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a middle of this clip.
Oh, man.
Are you nuts, Greg?
Yo, I don't know how to fast forward through the middle of the clip. The middle where he loses his mind and starts yelling sounds exactly like Chris Farley.
I love it.
That is a Chris Farley
I love
sound.
it.
You don't think I do that, Greg?
You know what that is? That's a man that is tired of people hearing what they want, not tuning in all the time. You can't tune in all the time, but not taking everything he's saying, taking a little piece, and then jumping in on him and trying to say, you should hold them accountable. And he clearly has been doing it for years, or else he would not react that way. That is great radio. That is hilarious.
Oh, my God.
They hired guys that know what they do. They got a baseball guy in the front office.
And I never signed off on that myself, Greg.
Well, then that's what you need to do is raise your voice and get this
Just sit there. You think I haven't said to get rid of Paulie Modesto over the last 10 years? Are you nuts? Are you nuts,
Oh,
Greg?
man.
I've never once said that I didn't trust Paulie Modesto over the last decade.
Hey, Craig, pipe down, though. Hey, first of all.
You know what?
Oh, man.
I can not empathize. I can understand the frustration that people have there. That's going to go down as the worst NFL trade ever.
Yeah.
And you did have, isn't it the guy that was part of Moneyball?
Oh, yeah. Paul D. Podesta used to be Billy Bean's right-hand man with the Oakland A's.
So he's the one that reportedly engineered the whole trade for Deshaun Watson. So I understand being frustrated with what is going to go down as one of the worst trades in professional sports. I just love this interaction.
This is great. I wish we could see the stream of this and just the rage on my man's face.
Getting just
Please,
red.
somebody find it. It has to be out there somewhere.
So mad. Again, I'm sure he's been angry, but what's he going to do? Storm into the building, storm into their mansion and say, you need to relinquish control of your team. You're not spending money wisely. He can only say so much before he's like, what do you want me to do here? I'm complaining about it every day.
All he can do is talk on the radio about it.
Oh, truly great host. Speaking of listeners, one question that I get all the time from listeners kind of as we're entering this bye week, I shouldn't say all the time, as we've gotten to the kind of halfway point of the season, is, okay, what are the remaining games for the Seahawks that actually are winnable? Make the case for me for a few wins here and for this team trying to hang on to, wild card positioning. And so because we've gotten that so much, I figured let's just do it. Let's look at the rest of the schedule and find out the winnable games for the Seahawks. That's next.
This is Seattle Sports.
Really start out by apologizing to my teammates, really, and to the city, to the organization.
Touchdown, Seahawks! What a game by JSN!
Some of the things that I said would never show up again showed up again.
Block! Oh, yeah. The ball is blocked! There was about 4 Seahawks who broke through.
We're going to find the solution at some point. So, we're going to go to work and we're going to figure it out.
I look directly at myself. I look in the mirror and I say, what do I have to do? And I know what I have to do.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Right now at Les Schwab, it's the deal you've been waiting for. The Score More sales event. Save up to $160 instantly on a wide selection of 4 tires and 4 wheels. Plus, every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Just one more way you'll get more from less. Stop by the store or find your tires at leschwab.com. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Text the word BOOST to 65555 to book your free T check. They have helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Text the word BOOST to 65555. That's BOOST to 65555. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used, and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
All right, guys, you looking for a fun night out? It's Mike Salk here to remind you that Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go, unwind, and have some fun, and to eat some great food. Make sure to check out 12 Moons. And then Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood has the amazing happy hour menu that starts at 4 p.m. And Falls Buffet, they're serving up all your favorites like the prime rib every day, the fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fry, noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every day. All with breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. It is Seattle's closest, only 30 minutes from downtown, Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, Let's take a look at the remaining schedule for the Seattle Seahawks. They're about to enter a bye, which means we all get to sit around and watch Red Zone. Kind of cool for this weekend, but then we got to feel stressed again as they leave the bye November 17th with the game against San Francisco. Bump, we are going to look at the remaining games for the Seahawks, 8 remaining games, and figure out which of these are, quote, winnable. You're not calling a win outright. You're just saying this is a matchup the Seahawks can win. We'll start with San Francisco. How are you feeling?
Man, there's only 6 games left.
Right? 2, 4, 6, 8.
That's wild. 8 games. Okay, that makes me feel better. Man, this is happening way too fast.
I know.
Niners, don't expect them to win that game. I just don't. Unfortunately, we know how this goes. The Niners have a system that works. Mentally, they have the edge on this team. There's always a chance. I think the Seahawks are capable of putting together a game to beat these guys. They are capable, but I wouldn't put my money on it. I don't see it going down. I do not either, so let's move on to our next. The first matchup against the Cardinals, the first of 2 in 3 weeks, November 24th, the last game before Thanksgiving, 1:25 p.m. kickoff. Are the Cardinals a winnable opponent? Because you're going to face them November 24th and December 8th in Week 14. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Now we're talking, okay? This is a matchup you can win. We know the Cardinals have been playing some good football as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback is maturing. He's finding his way. They've scored, they've won 3 games in a row, beat the Chargers 17-15, close one with the Dolphins 28-27, and then blew out the Bears. I think this next game for the Cardinals against the Jets is going to be telling for both teams. This feels like the 49ers and Cowboys, how we were looking at that game saying, okay, this is going to tell us a lot about both teams. Same thing here with this team. The Jets, feel like they might have figured a couple of things out.
Yeah, I could see that.
That they're settling into who they are. They did beat the Texans. The Texans not great this year with Nico and Diggs being out in that offensive line. You talk about a bad line, Texans are right there with the Seahawks with that bad offensive line. Nonetheless, that's a good win for the Jets. So they're trying to put games together. The last time they won back-to-back games was early in the season. They lost to the Niners, then beat the Titans and the Patriots. We all know how those teams have been performing this year. So, yes, I'm looking at the Cardinals and Jets and saying this will tell us a lot about both teams.
I think there is a road because they're going to go Niners and then Cardinals, Jets, Cardinals. I think there is a road where we enter a Sunday night football game against the Packers and they're still just hovering around 500 feeling okay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like within those 4 games are 2 wins and the possibility, I'm not saying it's likely, but the possibility of sweeping the Cardinals. And again, the Cardinals pack a secret punch, a sneaky punch. It's not going to be easy, but it's a little more evenly matched because they have growing pains too. So let's head to Sunday Night Football. This comes the toughest part of the remaining schedule. You have back-to-back weeks against the Packers and Vikings. We'll start with the Packers. Primetime, December 15th, 5:20 p.m. kickoff, Week 15. Yikes.
Not feeling great about that one, Stacey. You're at home, primetime game. Let's go get it. But it just doesn't feel right. That's a Sunday night game, right? Because my birthday is that Friday on the 13th. Holla at your boy.
You and Taylor Swift.
Yeah, both of us. We're the same.
Mm-hmm.
But the Packers have been – the thing that might keep the Hawks in the game is that Jordan Love has not taken care of the football the way you would like him to.
This is true.
He's completing 61% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I pointed out in 4-down territory that there's a group that could help propel this defense. It is the secondary. So when you go up against a quarterback who has been, I wouldn't say interception prone, but has shown that he can make some shady decisions, you got to make the most of it. The defense has to win ball games. I think the offense will typically score enough to keep you around, but this time of the year, it's getting cold. Guys are settling in. The defense has to win some ball games.
Then you are heading into December 22nd against the Vikings. Again, these back-to-back weeks, 15 and 16, are the 2 toughest remaining games in terms of just overall record that you're going to face. The Vikings, still one of the better teams in the NFC. Although here's the deal. The Vikings started out as, outside of the Chiefs, the final remaining undefeated team in the NFL. And then they struggled against the Rams. Then they started to show a couple weaknesses. Then Sam Darnold started to maybe turn back into a pumpkin. Not completely, but you're starting to see some flaws with this team. Is there a path to a win?
Right now, today, November 7th, no, I don't see it.
It's okay.
I think offensively, there's just too much there. And defensively, Flores is dialing some stuff up. And the Minnesota Vikings are going to be feeling themselves by the time they get to the Seahawks. They got the Jags, W. Titans, W. Bears, W. Cardinals, we'll see who they are. Falcons, we shall see. Bears, W. They're going to have at least 3 or 4 wins out of their next, 6 before they get to the Seahawks. Offensively, there's a lot. Defensively, they're just flying around making plays.
Okay, so before we head into the final 2 weeks of the season, we have looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and we can see maybe 3 wins.
Yep.
With, if you're lucky enough to sweep the Cardinals, there's the Jets, and the other 3 teams are just right now better than you in almost every category.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other 2 teams, you can make a case. Okay, so let's say that we are 3-3 through this stretch. Now we're heading into Thursday Night Football against the Bears the day after Christmas, December 26th.
You can do that.
If DJ Moore walks off the field again?
You can do that. Ankle?
Ankle?
You can do that. These are going to be crucial games. So if they win 3, that means that's 7 wins. These 2 wins, if they do it, will get them to 9, which is what I predicted. And I love being right. I love being right. So let's make me right. But honestly, just with the Caleb hasn't been able to connect with DJ Moore this year. Last year, Moore went for over 1,000 yards. This year, I think he's only around 300-something yards, and the connection just hasn't been there. There are some growing pains that are happening over there. I told y'all that this was going to happen with the Bears. I think they can still be a good football team down the road next year or the year after that. But these are the games you can win. Young quarterback, things going on with the Chicago Bears. And the LA Rams, you've shown that you're right there. If you don't turn the ball over twice in the red zone, if you attack the football out the air and get an interception, you win that ball game. And you shouldn't have. With all the mistakes that you made, you shouldn't have been in the ball game, but you were. The question is, with any NFL team, who are you at this time of the year? Who are you? Are the Rams better? Are they worse? Are they healthy? Are they not?
Right.
This is going to tell a lot. But going off of what I saw the last time they played the Rams, man, you can win this game. And then the Bears have a young quarterback. You can get them 6 wins. We just got them. We gave them 5. We just found 5 wins for them.
So you're looking at 8. You're looking at 8 to 9. 5 wins would obviously make it 9. And 4, let's say you drop one of those games against the Cardinals or you don't get that last one against the Rams, then you're looking at 8 wins. The last question is the most important. Do you think a 9-win team, if we could make a case for a 9-win team for this for this year, is 9 wins enough to win the NFC West this year?
It'll put you in the mix. 9 to 10. You need 9 to 10.
I think it's wild card territory. Yeah. I do too. I think that the last 8 weeks here are going to be absolutely fascinating. Let's stick with the NFL. Dan Graziano joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
A guy that never rests during an NFL season, Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
Where does this O-line, Baldy, fit with their 31 other peers in the league?
I mean, they're not a strong group. You know, they look like backups. They got backups in there right now, and Ryan Grubb is a deep ball thrower. You know, he wants to push the ball down the field, and those guys aren't holding up in order to run that side of offense right now.
Don't miss an hour of the show. Find the podcast at seattlesports.com.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select Costco locations in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Costco today. Navage. Navage. Breathe easy.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors since 1952.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
One of the NFL's best teams is getting even healthier. Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell is expected to be elevated from the PUP list in time for tonight's Thursday night game against the Bengals. We're all watching to see where Juan Soto will land as the top free agent this winter, but don't expect an answer anytime soon. His agent, Scott Boras, spoke to the general manager's meetings yesterday and said it's going to be a very thorough process for Soto, and he wants to meet with people personally and talk with them before making a decision.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. He's an NFL insider for ESPN. It's Dan Graziano joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Dan, the trade deadline has come and gone. And there were quite a few moves. What to you might have been the best?
Well, I think it's hard to watch Monday night's game and not say DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs, right? Like that was the instant impact. And you can see what he gives them that they were missing, which is that downfield guy that Patrick Mahomes trusts, which really says an awful lot about the player. given that they just met, that there would be that level of trust. It just tells you who DeAndre Hopkins is and why he would have helped anybody. But, yeah, that one stands out. I like the Vikings going to get Cam Robinson, the left tackle. Certainly not the same player that Christian Darrisaw is, who's out with an injury. But, you know, identifying that hole that needed to be plugged and kind of aggressively doing it with probably the best tackle you could have gotten at the deadline, I thought that was a good move by them that should pay dividends as well.
Hey, Dan, there's like the usual suspects when it comes to guys performing at a high level every year, right? As last 4 or 5 years, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Is there someone who's having a good year just quietly that no one's really talking about?
Let's see. Who's having a good year that people aren't talking about? I'm looking at, like, the standings here. I would say, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Joe Burrow, he's on tonight. He'd probably be an MVP candidate if they didn't have a losing record, but they do. Bo Nix with Denver. I don't think people realize how well he's played since, there were some ugly stat lines early in the season, but Sean Payton wanted to let him work his way into it, fight through some of the ups and downs that rookies go through. And it looks like that's paying off. They're 5-4. They're kind of hanging on the fringe of the playoff race with a roster that probably shouldn't be. And I think the rookie quarterback has been a big part of that.
Hey, speaking of the playoff race, Dan, as someone who covers an NFC fan or an NFC team like Bump and I do, you obviously look at last year's playoffs and you look at who you think the contenders will be, and some of that has quite a bit of carryover. There are some surprising teams like the Commanders, and then there's teams that have gone the other direction, and I am looking straight at the Cowboys, who obviously last year and the year prior mounted great records. What is going on?
I don't think the Cowboys had the roster they thought they did in terms of overall quality, right? Like, they're used to sort of regenerating with draft picks that work out. And they got 2 rookies playing on the offensive line, and they've had some good moments, but also some rookie struggles, which you would expect. And they're playing left tackle and center, so it's the 2 most important offensive line positions. They're thin, right? They don't have – Brandon Cooks doesn't seem to have much left, and now he's on IR. So it's really CeeDee Lamb in the wide receiver group. And not much else. They made a trade to get the young guy from Carolina. We'll see if that pays off. They did nothing at running back, and it shows up. They really don't have a run game at all. And then on the defensive side, it's a little top-heavy, right? Like, if 1 or 2 injuries, guys like Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, and all of a sudden you become a pretty easy defense to get. So I think thin roster. They took a lot of grief in the offseason for not being more aggressive in free agency, which is not something they really believe in, but there's probably a happy medium between sitting out free agency completely and, like, going a little too crazy. So they probably should have done more. I think they thought they'd get more production from the young players on their roster than they have. And because they haven't, it's exposed a lot of the weaknesses, in some key spots.
Hey, Dan, it depends on how you look at the NFC West, right? It could be the most competitive division in football with a team at 5-4 up top, Hawks at the bottom 4-5, and then the Niners and the Rams kind of squished in the middle. What is true about this division, and what is false about this division when you break these teams down?
I think what's true is that anybody could win it. I think, the Cardinals are a team that going into the season, I kind of thought it might be better than people think, like offensively. I thought they'd have major struggles on defense, but they've played a little better on defense the last few weeks, and they added the edge rusher from Denver, Browning, at the deadline. So they're trying to get better over there. More consistent play from Kyler Murray and the rookie receiver Marvin Harrison, I think over the second half would give them a shot. But, it's also the Cardinals, right? Like, we've seen them fall apart in the second half over and over again. So let's not fall for it. I think the Niners, still would be most people's favorite if they got healthy. But big if, right? Even if McCaffrey comes back this week, they're not getting Brandon Ayuk back, and there's been other injury issues that have held them back and kind of made this a 4-way race. The Rams are always better than we give them credit for, and the Seahawks, I have no idea. Like, they're like Jekyll and Hyde, right? Like,
Don't blame you.
Like they can look really good, right? And I think it's a first-year head coach who I think is really good and will be a good head coach long term, but. They got to get stuff figured out on the offensive line. The protection's been a problem. and the defense has been a little Jekyll and Hyde. I think they're relying a lot on a first-round rookie at the defensive tackle position. The games he's missed, they weren't obviously as competitive, and even when he's there, he's still a rookie. So, that's a team that seems to be putting it together. Right now, I would think the Rams, as things stand, have the best shot, just given the track record. But, if the 49ers could get some guys back, obviously, they could get on a roll.
Hey, speaking of the Seahawks, one of your ESPN colleagues, Adam Schefter, tweeted that DK Metcalf would not, in fact, be traded at the deadline. And another colleague, Jeremy Fowler, said, hey, there were some teams interested. Dan, we know you're well connected. We know you're an insider. What do you have any insight into if there were teams interested and which teams those might be?
Oh, there were teams interested. And, I mean, look at who got the receivers, right? Like the Pittsburgh Steelers called on every potentially available receiver since March, right? Like they were trying to get Brandon Ayuk. Remember when that was a thing? So I'm sure that they were among the teams that checked in. And I think, what happens is like teams will look at the contracts on the rosters and they'll say like, oh, well, DK Metcalf, he's only got one more year left on his contract. They drafted a guy in the first round last year. Are they thinking about moving on and replacing this player? Or are they going to extend him? Let's call and find out, right? So it sounds like when teams called, they were told, no, we're not moving him. And obviously he didn't get traded. But I think that's really what you see. You'll see reports like, after the Jets traded for Devontae Adams, Adam Schefter reports that they're getting calls on Garrett Wilson. But they're getting calls, but that doesn't mean they're taking them, right? They'll be telling teams, no, we're not going to do that. But teams check. And I think there was a sense around the league of like, would this be somebody, new coaching staff? Would this be somebody they'd move on from, given that, they drafted a guy that could potentially be a replacement for him and all that. So the discussions, as I understand it, didn't get very far, but there were teams.
We are in a weird place here in Seattle when it comes to the quarterback spot. We know that Geno can play some good ball. He's behind a bad offensive line. He's aging in a lot of people's eyes. In my eyes, he's only been a starter so many years in this league. He's got some years left. What do you think the market value is for a guy like Geno? And do you think if he were to explore some opportunities elsewhere, teams would be quick to pick him up?
Yeah, I think, look, everybody's – any starting caliber quarterback is going to get picked up. The question is, what would he be worth on the open market contract-wise? And obviously, I think the way he's played, the answer is probably more than the Seahawks are paying him. They got a nice deal on that contract after, his first good year as a starter there. And it's conceivable he'd want more. But, look at Baker Mayfield, right, after the year he had in Tampa. He gets 3 years and $100 million, right? So like 33 a year. And that's a year after Geno got 3 years and $75 million. So that gives you a sense of where these guys that are kind of, in their second, third chapters and having success, like how the league looks at them. So I would think that Geno could probably get a contract similar to the one Seattle gave him a couple years ago, but with more, more money, like adjusted for inflation and also the fact that he's continued to play well. But at 34, nobody's given out really a 4 or 5 year deal, I don't think, to a player like that. So, I think they're going to have to obviously address it. He's only going to have 1 year left after this, and they're going to have to figure out whether to extend him or move on. But if they extend him, I would think that Baker deal is probably the one to watch for comparison.
Hey, Dan, with a new head coach here in Seattle, Bump and I have been having a lot of conversations about team building and culture building. And I saw you retweet Rich Cimini, who I thought had a great tweet about the Jets, saying there's a difference between having a good roster and having a team. So while we're here in Seattle talking about, making the roster better and then building a team, I was going to ask you the question, what's the difference between just having a great roster and then having a great team?
I think it's just how you build it, right? Like in the case of the Jets, they bring in the quarterback from the outside. They give him a lot of control and say over the roster, and they're just kind of adding pieces without any thought of like, hey, did these pieces all go together, and what are we all about? Whereas look at Detroit, right, which, obviously they had a mandate to build a culture where there wasn't one, but they kind of did it the right way, right? They bring in Dan Campbell, and they bring in Brad Holmes, the GM, and they add the players. They feel like they get – in their first year they signed – Jamal Williams, the running back from he had been in Green Bay, right? So, like, this is a guy like a great locker room guy that, like, helped them put a culture together. Like, they looked for guys like that. And by the time they're ready to win, Williams isn't good enough. They replaced him with David Montgomery, another high character guy. But, like, the impact that a guy like that and guys like that have on the initial building of the culture, I think, is often overlooked. And identifying, like, here, these are the kinds of players that play the way we want to play, that can set the example. I think when you do it the way the Jets did, of like, oh, we've got a bunch of good players, let's bring in some guys from the outside at key influential positions that are going to be our team leaders, you haven't identified what you're about as a team. You're kind of bringing in other people from other systems. Seattle, like, you know, with the new head coach, like, there's not a culture problem in Seattle, right? I mean, like, with John Schneider and Pete Carroll over the years, like, everybody knows what the Seahawks are about. Now, is that going to change with a new head coach? You know, probably a little. He'll have his stamp on it. But John Schneider's not hiring a guy as head coach if he doesn't believe he's going to sort of continue this strong, you know, cultural foundation stuff that they've had going on there for so long. So I think, you know, Seattle's a place that most people around the league kind of know what their identity is, what they stand for. And I think while there'll be changes with the new coaching staff over time, I don't think the DNA is going to be a lot different. In the Jets situation, you're just bringing in almost mercenaries, right? And then, like, you know, how long are they going to be there and how committed are they to the cause? And I think that's the, you know, that's the difference, I think.
One of the more exciting things about the change here in Seattle was Mike McDonald obviously being a younger guy, and then a brand new coaching staff. When you look at just the experience on this coaching staff, it's not as deep as other staffs. You do have Leslie Frazier, obviously, with 25 years, and other guys like that. You have Charles London with 15 years, but you see a lot of 1 year, 5 year, 4 year type of experience when you look at these coaches. Have you seen a staff be this young and have success early, or do you feel like there's going to be some turnover eventually to try to enhance what this team can do?
Well, I think naturally you'll see some turnover because these are guys that Mike McDonald identifies as guys he believes in and believes they can be outstanding coaches. But, you know, you're not going to be so stubborn to, like, if you see evidence to the contrary, to not move on, right? So if things evolve over time. The staff, I keep going back to Detroit, just because it's such a great example of how to put things together, right? Like the staff that Dan Campbell brings in, there's some guys there that weren't highly experienced coaches. They were players turned coaches, and he thought that would be beneficial. But yeah, I think, you know, like he hired Anthony Lynn to be his offensive coordinator the first year. And that didn't work. And they let Anthony go. They elevate Ben Johnson. Well, Ben Johnson probably turned out to be a better offensive coordinator than anybody ever expected. So, you know, good for the Lions for identifying that move to make. And I think that's what you'll see. I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, they went from the oldest coach in the league to the youngest, which is pretty dramatic. McDonald has been around. He's been around both Harbaugh's, right? He's coached in college. He's coached in the league. He has a network, but the one thing to think about is he's not the only one. And now both Harbaughs are coaching in the league. Like, they're tapped into that network as well. So it's possible there's some guys floating around that McDonald couldn't get. And you'll see changes over the years as guys become available.
He's an NFL insider for ESPN, Dan Graziano. Dan, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today.
Thanks, Dan.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Fun one tonight on Thursday Night Football. The Bengals and Ravens meeting in a big AFC North matchup. What's the real headline?
There's one Tiger I care about, and it's not the Bengals. Curtis, you were not in here, so that headline is a surprise rewrite to you. But I have been telling Bump all about this story I'm absolutely obsessed with.
Is it the LSU Tiger?
Yes. Can I please tell you guys about this? Okay, so this is what happened. The governor of Louisiana somehow secured a tiger to bring to LSU's big upcoming game against Bama. This tiger is going to be in the stadium. And the reason he secured the tiger, first of all, no one knows where they're like, how'd you get this tiger?
Don't worry about it.
Where'd the tiger
Don't ask
come
about it.
Where'd
He
the
was
tiger
lost.
come from?
We found him in the jungle.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about it. They just have a tiger that they're bringing to the game. But the reason they're doing that is because Mike the 7th, the live tiger that's actually on campus but is now in like a humane enclosure, LSU was like, no, we don't want Mike the 7th to go to this game. This tiger is not going to the stadium. We think it's inhumane. So then the Louisiana governor's office and the Surgeon General were like, bet, we're going to get a different tiger.
All right, we'll go get another one.
They really did.
It's LSU, and we want a tiger.
Let me tell you what, I cannot get, literally that's exactly what happened, this is what it says from a Louisiana paper. When LSU pushed back on the request out of humane concerns for the tiger, Abraham, who's the Surgeon General, floated the idea of finding a second tiger. Go Tigers. So, yeah, apparently there's going to be a tiger there. That has nothing to do with Thursday Night Football. I just wanted to tell Curtis that we've been talking about this story. I was so excited about it. This is going to be a big one for Thursday night. Joe Burrow and the Bengals taking on the Ravens. And while we are unabashedly a Ravens show, we do like the Ravens. You're going for the Bengals in this one.
I am going for the Bengals because the Ravens could lose this game and they're still going to be fine. They're still going to get into the playoffs and make a run for this thing. The Bengals need this. Joe Burrow needs this for his sanity. He's having a great year. If they win this one, they have the Chargers, the Steelers, Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Broncos, Steelers. All of those are winnable games. But it starts here, man. If they want to make a run at this thing, I mean, they can lose this game and probably still get in if they win the rest of them. But if you win this one, yeah, you're feeling good.
Headline rewrites.
I saw with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is on pace to become the first quarterback ever with a 4,000-1,000 season. And and Derrick Henry is also on pace for 2,000 yards. So, which is the more impressive accomplishment, 4,000, 1,000, or 2,000? I think 4,000,
1,000.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because you got to think one of the knocks is always going to be, if you're running the ball that much, you're not a true passer.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing 4,000 yards in a season, man. You're balling.
He's only thrown 2 interceptions.
You're talking about close to 30 touchdowns, probably.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 20-2 touchdown to interception ratio this season. Like, think back to before the 2023 season, there were all those teams that were like, I don't want to trade for Lamar Jackson. Why would I want to do that? And then he just goes and follows it up with potentially
and now it's going to be
back-to-back MVPs.
MVP.
God.
What's next?
Headline 2, the University of Florida announced that head coach Billy Napier will return in 2025. What's the real headline?
Jed Fish is going to have to close that Gainesville Zillow tab for now.
Yeah, you got to chill, dog. Wifey's still going to do it, though. Wifey's still going to look at all these homes and say, I could see ourselves here. What if we did this with
one's
this?
in a country club.
Like, stop the hypotheticals. It's over, okay? It's over. You got to settle in and try to build something here at the University of Washington, which you are more than capable of doing if you have the right support. This is going to be a learning year. They lost a lot of players to the portal. That's what happens when your head coach leaves. So settle down. Go to your favorite bar. Find out what your favorite restaurants are, and make yourself comfortable.
Now, the joke is obviously in the news and headline was about Florida, but we're going to stick with Washington for this one. Upcoming game Saturday against number 6 Penn State. Whiteout game for Penn State.
In IMAX.
Yes, it's going to be shown in multiple IMAX theaters.
Can I tell you something, what I did last night?
Oh, my God.
I went and looked to see, because there's assigned seating now in all movie theaters, which I think is great. I think that's long overdue. I wanted to see just how much was how many seats were available for the Kent showing of the Penn State-Washington game.
80 out of 100.
Great seats still available. Nearly all seats still available. This was yesterday. This was last night.
So you're going to get to watch in IMAX. Your team gets smacked.
That's what I'm saying.
Good for you.
Matt and I are UW
But you get a
alum,
blue
and I'm
icy,
still like, I would have rather
Reese's
done
Pieces.
this. I would have absolutely gone to a showing if this was last year's team, but we knew this year's team would be entirely new and entirely in rebuild mode.
Imagine the team meeting, right? The IMAX people, the powers that be. Hey guys, got a great idea. Let's put Penn State UW in IMAX theaters. This is not 2023, my friend. If this was 2023, sold out for sure.
You think they'll have the 3D glasses that you can wear?
I hope they have.
so.
I hope they have the chairs that move. I hope they have all of that.
40X. You know what I hope too? That if this gets out of hand, Penn State's up like 40-7 or nothing. They just put on Wall-E. Just automatically go to like, what's a great movie to put on in an IMAX? Let's do that. Let's just go.
I watched the movie Up in IMAX 3D.
That's so sad.
With all the balloons.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, a sad start.
Great movie,
finish.
Sad start, yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, per John Heyman of the New York Post, the Tampa Bay Rays are reportedly a team showing interest in signing Juan Soto. What's the real headline?
They're spending that new roof money already. New roof money going to Juan Soto.
Fraud. That's what they're doing.
Fraud.
They put in an insurance claim. They said, actually, we're going to spend that on Juan Soto.
Oh, that's good.
You guys are
More
real public
teams
with
need
this.
to commit fraud to sign free
Exactly.
agents.
They were like, we're going to get a PPP loan, and what we're going to do instead. Oh, man, that's so funny. It's like when you would get your student loan money and you'd be like, I'm going to the mall.
Exactly. What? I used to get that little check we used to give, like, yeah, about half of this is going to shoes, dog.
Yes, every time. And then every time I'd be like, God, why am I so poor? Why did this happen? Oh, my student loan money.
That's what's happening with Juan Soto. I mean, everyone is in the mix for Juan Soto, at least theoretically to start. He's going to listen to everyone, he says. You know what's so gangster about Juan Soto? He said he's listening to everyone in the locker room right after they lost in the World Series. He said, I'm wasting no time. Put it out there. Best bidder, go ahead and come and get me. So Mariners, man, at least entertain us. Humor us. Act like you're going to make a bid for this young man.
They're not even
And
gonna
put it out there. Let us know, hey, we're going after Soto.
That's the thing with the Mariners. They aren't even going to act like they're going after it. I mean, there was that Seattle Times article where John Stanton said, we don't go after those big names in free agency because we feel like they're typically older players and we want to draft and develop and
25?
trade. Juan Soto is not an older player, but 25. I think that the Mariners recognize that, like, they can claim they aren't priced out, but as a mid-level market, you are. You're around 10 to 12, 13, 14, and you got to stay in your lane. But that does not exclude you from making trades, something you pointed to earlier.
Just act like you are, though. Throw a contract number out there that you know he's probably not going to accept, right? Just throw a number out there.
If he does, you're like, wait.
But hold on. You went for that? Like, we'll give you
$800 million.
Yeah, man.
No, not even a big one. Just give him a small. Hey, we tried 300 million, guys. 350.
And
you
then
know he's not going to take that, but at least you can trick the public into thinking you tried.
Can you imagine? Jerry DePoto calls John Stanton. John, this is going to sound crazy. I didn't think he'd say yes. I offered Juan Soto $800,000. I'm so sorry. We did it as a joke.
Oh, 800. They'd be like, for sure.
Anything Juan Soto said about, like, yeah, I want to talk in person. We're going to really stretch this out. It's going to be a thorough process. The second he was offered that money, God. Isn't this just going to come down to who pays him the most?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because also, frankly, the teams that are going to be offering the biggest contracts, he said that what he cares about most is going to a winning team. No losing teams are offering those big contracts.
No.
Right? Is there one I'm totally blanking on? That's going to be like offering a lot of money, but maybe struggling with culture. I mean, Blue
I did
Jays
see
have won.
Heyman. Yeah, Heyman listed the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays
Giants,
were,
but they've won.
from what we know, the Blue Jays were the other team in the Ohtani sweepstakes last year. It came down to the Dodgers in Toronto.
Yeah.
But I don't see him paying Toronto. They're not that close to a World Series.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are moving from looking around sports to looking just at the NFL. I was talking about, check out this transition. I was talking about one big cat with the LSU Tigers bringing in a wild tiger to the game against Bama. We got to talk about another big cat, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh.
It kind of works. I don't know. What's next?
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
I think the Mariners, if you're not going to spend that money now and really not be a player for at least somebody in the Walker, Santander, Torres class of players, if you're not going to do that, then you might as well trade one of your starting pitchers right now because you've proven already that you might be able to squeak into the playoffs with this current construction of the team, and you're setting yourself up to consistently come within 1 or 2 or 3 games of a playoff berth and fall short with the current construction of the ball club.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus. Do you have a fence? Go outside, look at that thing. Does it look strong? Is it leaning? Talk to me. Give me some information. If your fence needs some work, go to Contour Fence. They're locally owned and operated, serving the Puget Sound area since 19 84. 40 years fixing these fences. They specialize in residential and commercial fencing solutions as well as fence repairs. I came home one day, my dogs were looking me straight in my eye, sitting in the front yard. Thankfully, my wife spends a lot of money on training or else they will be gone, and it's all because of my fence. So this is what you do. You schedule a free consultation directly on their website. When you go to the website, use the code HAWKS10. Gets you 10% off any repair and replacement. If you want to talk to somebody, you're old school like me, call 425-481-7128. Visit the website contourfence.com today.
Transform your home from top to bottom with State Roofing. Hi, it's Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. It's not just about a new roof, it's about a new look for your entire home. Deck out your backyard or give your exterior a facelift with our siding and window options. And there's no better time to start than now with our incredible offer. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Why wait to make your dream home a reality? We do more than just roofs. Visit stateroofing.com. Let's talk about what's possible for your home.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, Shannon. What type of staff and what are you looking for when you hire?
Brock, we are looking for that person out there that wants to create opportunities to teach, instruct, and coach their patients and develop relationships with our team, our community, and then again, like I said, your patients. It's so important that we have people that are excited and positive and want to come to work and create a culture that we are striving to produce here at IRG. And that culture is what I call going towards the light. The soft skills in healthcare, the communication, the aha moments that all of us as clinicians want to do every day in our jobs, and we have it here at IRG.
And if you're a physical therapist or occupational therapist or exercise technician, athletic trainer, front office coordinators, there's opportunity for you. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. irgpt.com/careers.
In the fall, when the weather starts to change, Washington State sees an uptick in auto theft. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running or warm it up unattended with the keys inside. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
If you're injured in the state of Washington, here's what matters. Who represents you matters. The experience of their staff matters. Their investigation team and track record of success matters. Davis Law Group was founded in Seattle and has been winning cases for more than 30 years. We know Washington State, we know our courts, and we know how to deliver the highest level of client satisfaction. And that's what matters.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
Geno Smith was one of the best play-action quarterbacks in the NFL last year, ranking second in completion percentage out of play action. This year, he has the 5th fewest pass attempts utilizing play action with just 57, despite having the most pass attempts in the NFL at 342. Robert Mays of The Athletic joined Bump and Stacy yesterday and explained why he wants to see more play action from the Seahawks.
That version of the offense, it's like, why can't we just have a little bit more of this? You know, I'm not asking you to turn into the Ravens or, you know, what Washington is doing or what the Steelers offense looks like. I understand that that's not where you want to go. And when you consider Grubb's background, that's probably too far of a departure. But I still think there are probably ways to just make things slightly easier on the guys that are being most exposed within this offense.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Hey, it's G. Scott. Since the beginning in 2014, Nourishing Neighbors has raised over $36 million to help food banks and other hunger relief agencies in Washington. The Albertsons and Safeway Foundation would like to sincerely thank all the customers, employees, and partners over the past 10 years. Nourishing Neighbors continues to support initiatives including food for kids, grocery cards for the holidays, and innovation grants, so please keep donating and volunteering. Visit nourishingneighbors.com to learn more.
You gotta love football season, but when it comes to your windows and doors, you don't want any fumbles.
Steve Rabel here, reminding you to trust locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their selection of windows and doors can't be beat, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months with equal payments or 40% off qualifying installs. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about hockey. Don't you love a sport where it's almost fair game to throw off your gloves and bare knuckle it in that gray area? Hockey brings excitement, intensity, passion, often drinking. It's like a party with a puck. If you enjoy too many shots at the bar while watching slap shots on the ice, don't try to make a breakaway because the police won't just stonewall your goal. They're much more likely to throw you in that penalty box. And it won't be just a few minutes to think about what you did. Go ahead, enjoy cracking one open. Just don't overdo it. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com for your free private consultation. Hockey is one of the only sports where you can wrap around the goal and there's no out of bounds. But the roadway is a different story. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start with the Jags. Trevor Lawrence is not expected to play on Sunday for the 2-7 Jaguars. But the good news is he won't need surgery on his left shoulder, per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. Instead, it's former Patriot Mac Jones who's in line to make his first start for Jacksonville on Sunday. Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Hey, let's go get it, man. Welcome to your second stint in the NFL. This is where he's going to be for a while, a backup quarterback. But this can also raise his status in the league if he can go out there and play some decent football. This is what backups live for, the opportunity to go out there and create a narrative that just kills what people think of you. Unfortunately, it is against the Minnesota Vikings and that defense. So good luck, Mac Jones. Make the best of your opportunity.
Panthers GM Dan Morgan says the team never opened the door on any Bryce Young trade talks leading up to this week's deadline.
We never got into any discussions. I never opened that door. Didn't want to trade Bryce. Still don't. And committed to working with him and helping him grow and helping him develop.
It's a little surprising because one season into his career and 2 games, he was benched for Andy Dalton. So it certainly seemed like this team was done with Bryce. Now, with Andy Dalton hurt, he's had to start the last 3 games. His last 2 have been really solid. He has 3 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But before that, in his regular starts for this team, he had no touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
So he clearly benefited from sitting down for a little bit.
He did.
To learn how to be a professional from Andy Dalton. And it's refreshing that you're hearing this GM say, we're not giving up on him. We realize he's still young. They're treating him as if he's a rookie. With Canales coming in, being a first-year head coach, he has his rookie quarterback. Give him time to grow and develop. He clearly was watching and learning on the bench. Let's see if he can finish strong. And I'm glad that they're going to take some time with him because there's some talent there. Just sometimes it takes a bit longer for guys to really shine. Maybe that's the situation with Bryce Young.
A scary scene from that Saints game this past weekend. You guys all saw it. Chris Olave was stretchered off the field. Saints interim head coach Darren Rizzi gave an update to reporters.
It's going to sound a little bit like coach speak, but it's really not. This is really what he's doing. We're kind of taking this day by day. He wants to go thoroughly through the process and making sure he's making the best decision for Chris Olave. I think we'll remove football from that equation in the beginning of it. And what's the best decision for the person. And so, listen, my conversations with him and our medical staff have been, we're going to kind of be thorough. He's going to be kind of thorough, and his family's going to be thorough with the process. I completely support that. Like I said, I have 5 kids of my own, and so if that was one of my kids, I would want to do the same thing. We're more worried about Chris Olave, the person at the moment, and making sure that everything's good. And then once he goes through that process, then we'll bring it back to football and see how that fits in. So I know it sounds like coach speak. It's really not. It's how we're doing. So he's kind of seeing some specialists and doing some things and kind of going through the process, and I certainly encourage that.
This is the second concussion suffered by Olave this season alone. He's had 4 total in his short NFL career, and as Darren Rizzi said during that cut, it's why he's seeking out a specialist to kind of probably take the same approach Tua did. Hey, can I play? Am I okay?
Yeah, don't mess with the juggler. Take your time with that thing, especially when it seems like it's frequent. I wonder what it is in a player's makeup. Like, do players with stronger necks or backs, shoulders, do they
Right, like,
support?
why do some guys?
Yeah, some guys just have that where they just get hurt. You barely hit them. I saw the hit against Olave. It was a hard hit, but it wasn't anything that I thought would put him to sleep the way that that he did. So, Olave, take your time. The coach is saying all of the right things day by day, all that good stuff. And then you heard JSN in his post-game presser give love to his former teammates. So, yeah, man, take your time.
Do you remember a bit of controversy from Josh Olave, Chris's brother, and his response to fans over the weekend?
No.
So Olave's brother was asked a question on X whether Chris needed to, decide whether it was worth playing anymore. And Josh said, quote, "Ain't worth it in NOLA, I'll tell you that." So.
Well, 6 weeks ago it probably was, but now it isn't. Man, you ride it out with your team. Let them decide if they want to get rid of you or not. And Olave is a competitor. If he's capable of playing, he's going to go out there and he's going to play. He's still on his rookie contract, isn't he? Still on his rookie contract? He has to be if he played with JSN. Yeah, so he's got some things to do. If he's able to play football, he's going to want to do that because we all know you get paid that second contract.
The next story is not for the squeamish. It's an update on Dak Prescott's injury. He's on the IR with that hamstring injury, but NFL Network thinks he could be out longer than the required 4 weeks because it's been revealed that injury involved his hamstring detaching from the bone.
Goodness gracious.
So it's not a hamstring strain. Not only a strain. It is the hamstring itself detaching.
I wonder, do you go in and reattach it? Do you let it just grow the way it is? What is the procedure for this?
You hold a paper towel over it?
And just
What's
all
the
right.
approach?
Just stay right there.
Like gauze, a lot of tape.
Yeah. You turn it off and turn it back on? I don't know.
Reboot that thing.
So obviously on IR, he's sitting out a minimum of 4 games. They are going to have Cooper Rush is their main backup, but then I guess, what's his name? Jerry Jones was on 105.3 The Fan and shared that Trey Lance can do some things that Cooper Rush can't, hinting that, which I don't know why he's doing this, hinting that they could have Trey Lance packages as part of this offense.
Why not? You got him, and you have nothing to lose. At this point, you should see exactly what you have in everybody out there. The starters have to start, of course, but if you're really trying to build, you got to find some diamonds in the rough. You got to find some type of support. So if you can play both quarterbacks, man, go ahead and do it. Let Trey Lance do his thing. Don't make him a runner, though. That's where Shanahan got him jacked up. He can run, but he's not a running quarterback.
Bill Barnwell of ESPN lists his favorites for several end-of-season awards. And while we still have 8 games left to play, 9 including this weekend, of course, Seahawks on a bye, it's always fun to take a look at where the league stands. So, Bump, what do you want to hear? Front runners for MVP, coach, offensive rookie, offensive player, or defensive player?
I can't hear them all.
Well, let's go in order of what you want to hear.
All right, let's go MVP first.
Okay, MVP first. So he has... unsurprisingly, Patrick Mahomes, usual suspects and all of these guys, but his top 3. Jared Goff, number 3. Jaden Daniels, number 2. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. Bill says there's no way I can pick anybody for this award at the halfway point other than the reigning MVP.
Yeah, 100%. With you.
Let's go to Coach of the Year because I'm interested in that one, and I think that I was a bit surprised by number 1. So for Coach of the Year, Bill Barnwell, let me scroll back up here, looks at Kevin O'Connell, who's done a great job with the Vikings. Again, they got that horrible news at the beginning of the season. J.J. McCarthy's out for the year, and everyone looks at Sam Darnold and goes, Vikings are done. Nope, they end up being one of the final undefeated teams before obviously suffering a couple losses. Dan Quinn of the Commanders is his number 2 pick.
Yep.
They have the second best record in the NFC in a year where no one expected to be
All right, let me guess number 1.
Okay,
Let me guess number 1. Okay, I'm going across the league. I'm going to say number 1 has to be Mike Tomlin.
It's Mike Tomlin!
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I was going to put like a donut bet on it or something because I was like, this one's a little tricky.
Yeah.
That's a little tricky.
But because for him to make that move while their team is playing good football, go out and get Russell. The way they got the quarterbacks was kind of crazy. And then for him to not commit to Justin Fields and then make that move, yeah, it's a great coach move.
So while Jaden Daniels is in the mix for MVP, he has him as a favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I don't see that not happening.
Yeah.
For Defensive Player of the Year, it is the usual suspects, Myles Garrett, number
Dexter
3,
gotta be
TJ
in there.
Watt. No, Trey Hendrickson is his number one for the Bengals, which is wild because isn't the problem for the Bengals? I've not been paying close attention to the Bengals. But is it like the secondary has issues?
I don't know. I ain't watched too many games.
I don't know. He's got Trey Hendrickson as his favorite. To be defensive player of the year ahead of TJ Watt, who I was expecting.
Well, he's leading the league in sacks, has 11.
Yeah.
But to not even mention Dexter Lawrence doing all that dirty work with 9 sacks, interior lineman.
I know.
Disrespectful.
I know. Bill, how dare you? Let's wrap up with offensive player. How dare you? Offensive player of the year. Justin Jefferson, number 3. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. Number 1, guess?
Number 1 is going to be the man by the name of Derrick Henry.
Yes, it's Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
God, imagine the Ravens getting MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and not getting to a Super Bowl. You guys got to do it. You simply have to. All right, there are some takes and phrases in sports that we hear way too often. Sometimes we love them, and sometimes we just get absolutely sick of them. Coming up next, the most overused sports takes ever.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Daniel Jeremiah show every Wednesday with us here at 8:30. How many guys legitimately could come in here and play the position a whole lot differently than Geno has through 9 games?
I think you could find 10 quarterbacks that would be marginally better. I don't think anybody's going to thrive under that type of pressure. Watching this tape this last week, there were 4 or 5 plays where I wrote the word greedy. And some of that stuff is on him. If he's passing up completions and trying to be a little too greedy to get vertical down the field.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app. Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select Costco locations in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Costco today. Navage. Navage. Breathe easy.
All right, guys, you looking for a fun night out? It's Mike Salk here to remind you that Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go unwind and have some fun and to eat some great food. Make sure to check out 12 Moons. And then Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood has the amazing happy hour menu that starts at 4 p.m. And Falls Buffet, they're serving up all your favorites like the prime rib every day, the fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fried noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every day. All with breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. It is Seattle's closest, only 30 minutes from downtown, Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. Forward, if you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's! Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. So on your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
This is Brock Hewitt. If you're retired or retiring soon and concerned about the future, call Tila Mortgage today to find out the benefits of a reverse mortgage. Tila's been locally owned and trusted right here in the Seattle Metro for over 25 years. Just ask yourself, do I settle for a retirement that just gets me by? I say no. Tila will see if you can retire more comfortably with a home equity conversion mortgage. They can help you refinance your current mortgage and convert a portion of your home's equity into a line of credit, providing benefits like no monthly mortgage payments or cash back to pay off bills, do home improvement projects, or build up a cash reserve for safety and peace of mind. Plus, you get to keep your home. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
It's comedian Tom Segura at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Friday, April 25th.
My kids call me Tom. So unnerving. Every day, the older one's like, "How you doing, Tom?" I go, "Hey, I'm not your fucking stepdad, all right? I wish I was. It'd be a lot easier, but I'm not."
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. One of today's biggest touring comedians, Tom Segura's Come Together Tour, April 25th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
Now that the rain is here, I remember my conversation with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, about metal roofs. And not only are metal roofs not loud when it rains, they're more eco-friendly, last twice as long, and Asset Roofing can do them for up to 30% less than their competitors. You can find out more at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Look, you got to be tight-lipped as a coach sometimes, and that means saying the same things over and over, but you do, as a fan, get so sick and tired of hearing certain things. So we are going to be ranking the most overused sports, should I say phrases?
Phrases, words, cliche. I don't know.
Okay,
you know what we talking about.
And this is coaching cliches or player cliches, right?
Both, yeah.
Okay. What do you got?
Oh, this is the biggest one. I'm going number one off top. I am Coach Mike McDonald. I'm coming off a 3-game losing streak. I'm looking towards the rest of the season. And a reporter asked me, what do you see coming up here? We just got to take it one game at a time.
Number
one game at a time. That's it. We're going to hear that. Any team that's losing or any team that's winning does not matter.
No.
We got to take it one game at a time. Of course you do, Coach. Of course you do. You can't play 2 games at once. What is this? And you got an A squad and a B squad? You send them to different games? Of course it's one game at a time.
Honestly, taking it one game at a time, 1 week at a time is a number 1 seed in the overused coach phrases. It's a number 1 seed for sure. 425 saying, look, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
End of the day. I don't know if end of the day is a number 1 seed, but it is a strong.
It's up there.
You know what I mean? It is like
it's up there.
It's like when you get a team in the top 4, top 5, or they get into college football playoff, and you go, "It's been a minute. Good to see you here." That's at the end of the day. Okay, I'm gonna go to my. I'm gonna go to like a 3-4 seed here.
All right.
So this isn't like the most overused, but look, as someone who, as a reporter, used to transcribe so many pointless interviews, I'd be transcribing for 20 minutes, and then I'd read it back and go, "This guy said nothing. Truly said nothing." But I guess that's my article. Send. It's when you lose, we just got out executed.
Got out executed.
Oh my God! If I hear execute one more time from a player or coach, so what happened? Yeah, I mean, we just didn't execute.
Didn't execute.
That is what you say when you're a player and you're like, I don't want to answer your question. I don't want to give you the time of day.
Yeah.
If you ask me what happened and the answer is I dropped a ball I should have caught, or I messed up I'm a quarterback, I messed up a read on something, or maybe like, honestly, this is over your head as a reporter. You're not going to understand this. My answer is just didn't execute.
Hey, or you're not trying to snitch on somebody. Like, yeah, that dude definitely didn't make that play because he wasn't assignment friendly. Yeah, you say, got to execute it.
Yeah,
I like that.
A strong contender. Curtis, you got one?
Yeah, this one I always get so tired of hearing, and it happens around NFL draft season. You hear all these draft gurus say, this guy, player X, is a rare combination of size and speed. How is it a rare combination of size and speed if every prospect is a combination of size and speed? It's not rare.
This guy's an athletic freak. Oh, you mean the guy that's about to be selected in the NFL draft?
Every single NFL player is a rare combination of size and speed.
For real.
God.
Or like, it might lean one way or the other, but like no matter what, these guys are freaks. They're actual physical freaks. Okay, you got another one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Let's go with when things are going bad and it's getting tough. Our back's against the wall. Our back's against the wall, guys.
Back's against the wall.
What are you going to do? Our backs are against the wall. It's up to us to make things happen. Back against the wall. Classic.
Ooh, I love this one. I love this one from the 360. When you're talking about a team you just beat, we have a lot of respect for those guys.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
In your head, you're like, y'all whack.
No, you don't.
Y'all garbage. We got y'all. Let's go. Respect is gone. Respect is before the game. After the game, it's like, nah, man, we got them.
No, you were stomping on that turf when you left, spitting on the field, just like, I hate this team. We got a lot of respect for those guys out there. You know what I mean? So this was a hard-fought game. No, it wasn't. You beat them 40-3. It was not. You have no respect for that team whatsoever. No respect for them.
Nope.
All right, who's got another one? I got a couple more from listeners.
It's your turn.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is one that I actually think is fair.
Okay.
And I'm going to preface it. It's. I don't think this is always just coach speak, but I do think sometimes it's a lie to get out of answering a question. If, as a reporter, I ask a coach a question, I know he knows the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I just got to get back and watch the film. Game just happened. I got to go back and watch.
Sometimes I got to watch the film. They do.
Sometimes you do got to watch the film. But if I say something like, let's say a player performs really poorly, gets benched, coach,
Yeah.
You know what happened, but I gotta get back and watch the film. That's me being like, I can't make it. I actually have a phone call that I have to take, and so I'm not going to be able to make that meeting. It's a very important phone call that I definitely have to take.
Yep.
Gotta get back and watch the film. We got a couple more from the Mac and Jack's text line. God, these are so good. Let's see. This person says, don't get too high, don't get too low.
Yeah.
Don't get too high, don't get too low.
Even kill.
Someone says, anytime someone says is an excuse, it's too early to tell. There's not a big enough sample size. At a certain point, and you just don't want to admit it.
Oh, man.
Hey,
the ball doesn't bounce our way.
Oh.
Ball doesn't bounce our way.
206. They just wanted it more.
They just wanted it more.
What happened?
I found one on Google.
Yeah.
Somebody was mad about the phrase, they really came to play. And then they go, I would think that everyone who showed up to compete at a scheduled game or event as a member of the team wearing a uniform with their equipment did, in fact, come to play the game.
Oh, my God. This one. 253. I actually have not heard this one before. This is hilarious. 253 goes, my first year of college, we lost 4 in a row. Our head coach goes, if you think we have it bad, drive by a cemetery and think about how those people
Goodness
feel.
gracious.
Whoa. What?
Goodness gracious.
Can you imagine him pointing to just graves? Think about how that man over there in that grave feels today. Like, he's not feeling anything.
Oh, man.
To be blunt. Oh, God.
Hey,
that is
I got one more.
Yes.
One more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Just got to face adversity. When you face adversity, what are you going to do when you face adversity? That word has been used in so many different ways.
Let's see. When an offense or defense is just, quote, really multiple.
Yeah.
Pen in your ears back. Tremendous upside.
It's still early.
Yeah. Oh, God.
High motor guy. Love those guys.
Ooh. So this person says, forget coaches. How about NFL commentators? Quote, I didn't have that one on my bingo card. I should do a bingo card purely based on whenever a broadcaster says, well, I didn't have that one on my bingo card.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was fun. We are going to talk about some of the biggest surprises in the league through 9 weeks coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There was some hope that perhaps they would address the O-line issues at the trade deadline. They did not.
I didn't expect that there was going to be a lot of offensive linemen out there. Just because, it's so hard to find good offensive linemen. You just kill for that right now, right? I mean, for the Seahawks, especially with all the injuries at right tackle. So that was my perception, that nobody wants to trade good offensive linemen, that they're just such a premium.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 76, visit staples.com/print for details.
This is Stacey Rost. Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait until it becomes a flood. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. At Ben's Plumbing, they pride themselves on 5-star service, where your satisfaction is their priority. Whether it's a stubborn clog or a complete plumbing overhaul, their team of dedicated professionals is here to help with no commission sales tactics. Just honest, reliable service you can count on. Call today at 206-789-5353 or visit Ben's.plumbing. That's Ben's.plumbing.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought, I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and I had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
For top quality fencing, trust Contour Fence, locally owned and operated since 1984. For residential or commercial, visit contourfence.com. Use code HAWKS10 for 10% off repairs or replacements and schedule a free consultation today. That's contourfence.com.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Summer's over and you've had your fun, but now it's time to get back on track. Stop feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and start being excited about the new you that's possible. We want to be your teammate. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs. Just teaching you how to turn your body into a fat-burning machine and keep it off for the long term. We know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle strategies designed to reset your metabolism. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
It's crazy how well it works while you're eating real, fresh, delicious food. The recipes are awesome. And just having somebody teach me how to make the right food, it helped an unbelievable amount as I lost 35 pounds.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
One of the NFL's best teams is getting healthier. Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell is expected to be elevated from the PUP list in time for tonight's Thursday night game against the Bengals. We're all watching to see where Juan Soto will land as the top free agent this winter. Will it be with the Dodgers, Bump? Don't expect an answer anytime soon. His agent, Scott Boras, spoke at the general managers meetings yesterday and said it's going to be a very thorough process for Soto.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. All right, we are heading into Week 10, and even though the Seahawks are on a bye, we're all going to be relaxing on Sunday, watching a lot of these games. Now that we're in Week 10, we've seen a lot. We were joking about coaching cliches, and it's a small sample size. Not true anymore. We know who these teams are. We know who these players are. It's all about who can finish. So let's talk about the biggest surprises in the NFL through 9 weeks. You can join this conversation on the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. I'll keep an eye out for your guys' answers. Bump, a lot of potential ones here. So really, we're going over quite a few. But who do you have as one big surprise in the NFL through 9 weeks?
Love me a bounce back story. Love a bounce back story. And we've seen that a lot with quarterbacks this year. Baker Mayfield leading the NFL in touchdown throws is crazy to me. He's at 23 this year. Last year, he had 28. That was his best year. Before that, 26 was his best. 27 was his best, and 26 and 22. He's on pace right now to throw about 35, 40 of them things. And he's taking care of the football. He's completing 71% of his passes, yet his team is 4-5 or 4-4 right now. He plays in a weird division where the Atlanta Falcons are probably going to win. But Baker Mayfield, that whole story this year has been awesome. He's beat the Commanders, he beat the Lions, beat the Eagles, beat the Saints, but then he lost to the Ravens, the Falcons, and the Chiefs. Now he has the Niners, Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. Hey, they can make a run at this thing. They're 4-5 right now. I can see them winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their next 8 games if he continues to take care of the rock and throw them tutties the way he's been throwing them.
What's so cool about Baker Mayfield, you mentioned this with all of your numbers, is that his 23 touchdowns aren't a career high. But again, those career highs are for the full season. 27 touchdowns in his rookie season is a career high. He's going to beat that.
Yeah.
Over the next 8-9 games, he will have career highs in most stats. So whether or not the Bucs even make it to the playoffs, it's such a phenomenal season for him. He's not going to be winning MVP. Lamar, a front runner for that, with a couple other folks behind him. I'm not going to spoil it because they're included in the rest of these surprises. But he should be talked about more as a truly resurgent, exciting quarterback. Speaking of one of those MVPs, I don't think he's going to win it.
Nah.
You can guess where I'm going. I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's an award that's going to Lamar for a third time. But I think Jared Goff playing like an MVP is one of my biggest surprises in the NFL. I knew that Jared Goff found a second wind with Detroit. And I knew that Jared Goff would be part of a good offense. And I cannot, as an NFL fan, be overly surprised that the Lions look really good when they were last year taking on the 49ers in the NFC title game. However, that Jared Goff has been as sharp, as accurate, as great as he's been, that does surprise me. Like, I always saw it as like something between elite and game manager, whatever category that is. That's where he lives. You know what I mean? The upper middle class of quarterbacking.
Upper middle class.
But he found himself a mansion.
He did. He bought at the right time and got himself a mansion for the low. Jared Goff threw 30 touchdowns last year. It did not feel that way. It did not feel like he dropped 30 on him in 12, but it's the way he's doing it this year. Completing 74% of his passes. Mm-hmm. He's 30 for the last 30 when targeting Amon-Ra St. Brown. The offense is flowing. The defense is doing his thing. He's comfy. And it's crazy to me that this is his fourth year already with the Detroit Lions. I feel like this should be his second or third year. But no, Jared Goff, he is the perfect example of you don't have to be the most talented quarterback physically to be considered an MVP. You just have to be in the right situation with a great team. That's what we're seeing out of the Lions, especially out of Jared Goff. That was a surprise. We felt like he was a good quarterback last year, but we didn't think of him as an MVP caliber type of quarterback. So, yes, I'm with you there. I'm with you.
What do you have as your next biggest surprise of the NFL season so far?
The Chiefs are 8-0 with Mahomes throwing 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Mahomes interception.
Before the last game, he was at 8-6 or something like that. It's crazy to see the Chiefs continue to win, and Patrick Mahomes just had his best game of the year. Before that, he's turning the football over, not getting explosive plays, but now you got D-Hop, and they're going to add to that offense. Well, they did add to the offense. You get Kareem Hunt just off the bench, off the street. He was working at a Chili's, and now he's on the field scoring touchdowns. How do they keep doing this?
They can't keep getting away with this.
Mahomes, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 8-0. It don't matter. They win ball games.
It's also so weird. Curtis, what was the point differential stat that you had about the Kansas City Chiefs? You were talking about it this morning.
In their 8 wins, their point differential's plus 56, so that comes out to 1 touchdown each game.
What? And that's what I'm saying. You are undefeated. An undefeated team who, honestly, you look at the rest of their schedule bump. We did this yesterday. Toughest remaining games. You got a game upcoming against the Bills. You do have 2 against the Steelers. And then it's a cakewalk. There is a world where they finish with maybe 2 losses.
Yep.
And probably 1.
It's messed up.
It just keeps happening. I don't have Chiefs fatigue yet, though. I'm going to be honest.
I don't either, but I think after they win this 3rd Super Bowl, then I'm like, that's enough, guys.
I talk about the next team because I know that you'll be excited to talk about them. One of the biggest surprises in the NFL through 9 weeks, I just wrote Commanders because there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the offense at large, but Jaden Daniels, obviously, and Cliff Kingsbury are a huge part of this. Last year, Washington's offense was averaging 19.4 points per game. That was good for 25th. This year, a 1-season jump. They are 3rd in scoring, nearly 30 points per game. Think about that. They added 10 points per game on average to that offensive production.
Man, watching Jaden Daniels, and what's great about this is that we heard about him before the season started. They're saying, oh, man, he looks good in camp. And I go, yeah, it's camp. Nobody's touching him. He's the quarterback. All these rookies look good in camp. Skylar Thompson looked good in camp. You know, so I want to see it live. And then you come out in his first game, they lose to the Buccaneers. You expect it. Look, he's a rookie. We'll let him grow. And he was 17 of 24, no touchdowns, but he rushed for 2 touchdowns. That's what we expect. But then things get rolling. And then they beat the Giants, then the Bengals, then the Cardinals, then the Browns. And I read those names out, and you're thinking, so what do you mean? It's the Giants, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Browns. But this is a rookie, and the Commanders doing that. It's different. Context is important. Then you lose to the Ravens, which was one of the greatest games of the season so far. 30-26, you lose to the Ravens, and then you rack off 3 more in a row. You look at who they are now, and you look at who they've beaten, you're saying they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. Only team that they weren't supposed to lose to was probably the Buccaneers if you look at them now, but that was his first start in the league. Jaden Daniels has been extremely impressive. And McLaurin, bless your soul. You finally have a quarterback throwing you the football, man. Good for you.
Them making a trade for Marshawn Lattimore was huge, obviously continuing to add to that defense. And you mentioned it earlier, but it's a bit of a redemption arc for Cliff Kingsbury. His challenge will be one that he's always faced as a head coach. How do you keep it moving and adapt in the second half? But this time around, he's got a brand new quarterback, a brand new offense, some nice weapons. And he's kind of, you get to be, some people just like, maybe you aren't, like, I wouldn't be a good boss, but like, I would be great in just my lane. And I wonder if that's Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Like he's
That's
in
exactly
his
it.
lane.
That's exactly it. He's a quarterback guy. Baker Mayfield, Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray. I mean, he's helped all of these guys.
Can we talk about a bad surprise?
It's my turn.
Oh, right.
See, there you go. Always jumping the gun. You must have a good one. Go ahead. You must have a good one.
No, I'll go.
No,
next.
you got it. No,
Okay.
Now I'm excited. What you got? The Jets. I had them contending to start the season. I had them contending. Goodness, man. What happened to the Jets?
The Jets right now are just mediocre. They have a negative 3-point differential. They are obviously not scoring a ton, scoring among the fewest points per game, around 19, which puts them at 25th. They are a team, though, that you remember. Do you guys remember what year it was that the Eagles had that amazing roster? And people were like, this team is going to be a super. I think it was when
2011, 2012.
Was that with Vic and them?
It was. Was it with Vic? It
Deshaun
was when
Westbrook?
They
Was
signed
Westbrook still playing?
Namdi Asamoah that offseason.
Was it Chip Kelly as head coach then? Yeah. So it was that roster, and we were like, this is a fantasy football roster. Like this is amazing. That's how people were talking about the Jets. They were like, Breece Hall, you helped out this offensive line. You've got Aaron Rodgers.
Conklin.
You've got Garrett Wilson. Yeah, you've got C.J. Mosley. Like, it's great linebackers. Quinnen Williams, a great defensive line. You've got Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. You've got these great pieces, Pro Bowlers at every level of the defense and of the offense. And then it didn't matter. Like, it truly didn't matter. And I find it to be a fascinating indictment on the impact of culture, team building, quarterback, that always supersedes talent.
Do you know, you just pointed out all these names on the roster, and the person who is responsible for their demise is the one who I think they were counting on to take them to the next level, which is Aaron Rodgers. His whole vibe, his grumpy old man, his I want it my way, get this guy out of here type of stuff, I think is killing this team right now. Guys on this team don't feel like they can even be themselves and smile and have fun because Aaron Rodgers walks around the facility just with an arrogance that he's earned it. He deserves it, I guess. But I don't think he realizes how his attitude and his aura affects everybody else. He's got to become more likable, man. You're dealing with young guys. You're not at Green Bay where you have all the old homies that were born in the 80s and understand how you operate. These kids were born in the late 90s and 2000s, sir. You have to change your approach. If they do not do that, I don't see the Jets doing anything this year or next year.
Yeah, I know that it's fine for people to say, oh, they weren't a surprise to me. I knew they'd be bad. But I didn't think that a team with that much talent would be dumpster fire bad. Like, I didn't expect them to, with a roster that's mostly healthy. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't lose major people. Okay, what do you got?
All right, so before going into the season, what division do you think was considered the best division in football?
AFC North?
The North. Pittsburgh 6-2, leading the division right now.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Huge surprise. You acquire Justin Fields. Say, Justin, you're our guy, man. We're gonna build an offense around you. We got Arthur here as your offensive coordinator. And you say, hold on, who's that over there? Is that Russell? Oh, the Broncos getting rid of Russell? Hey, Russell! Hey, come holler at me real quick. And then you bring him in, and Justin Fields looking like, what's going on here, man? I thought we were cool. Like, no, he's just a homie. He's just a homie. He's gonna come in and hang out with us for a little bit. He's gonna sleep on our couch for a little bit. And then you wake up one morning, and Russell got his bags in the house. He's making breakfast for everybody, though, because Russell's a nice guy.
Right,
making breakfast for everybody, and he's selling in.
Singing gospel.
Hey, and you're looking at him like, hey, Russ, how long you staying? Russ, I don't know, indefinitely. We'll see. What the Pittsburgh Steelers have done, Mike Tomlin in the game, with that situation and the way they handled it, they finessed it. And they finessed it, but they also told the truth at the same time. Going into camp, Russell has the pole position. Russell gets banged up. The calf is all jacked up. Justin's going to be our guy, but we're still going to evaluate and see what's going on. Never committed to Justin Fields. Week after week after week, Fields goes out there, wins ball games, doesn't turn the football over, never commit to him, and then Russell's healthy, and he gets in the game. What was the first game? Was it against the Jets? Was it his first game?
Yeah, because we were lamenting that he'd have to do that.
Against the Jets, and he goes out there and he wins a ball game. And look at them now, 6-2, top of the division, and they got things rolling
and looking good.
Yeah.
Not like a Russell Wilson that we're like, oh, good for him, but a Russell Wilson where you go, ooh.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good deep ball, or like, oh, it's a good shot right there. I remember when we were 2-3 weeks in, and you're searching for things to talk about because you can't make any big statements about any team. It's just simply too early. But one of the easiest ones was, hey, these are the teams that are 2-0 or 3-0, and are they contenders or pretenders? Easy conversation to have. And at that point, the Saints were one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. You had the Steelers, obviously, who were undefeated. The Vikings, the Seahawks at the time went 2-0 and then 3-0. So it was fun to have those conversations. And I remember saying pretenders for the Steelers because the offense was doing nothing. I was like, Justin Fields isn't scoring a ton. This is not a high-scoring offense. In fact, they're one of the lowest-scoring teams. The defense is just so good. And when they have a game, when their defense struggles, the offense won't be able to do enough. And I was so wrong.
Yeah.
The defense is still really good. It's not like the defense has had awful showings, but
it'd be like that.
They're for real.
1360 says the success of Sam Darnold. I'm not surprised at all. I told you. I'm not surprised at all.
He called that one, so he gets bragging rights. Okay, we're going to get to Four Down Territory. Do you have another one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more.
Mason for the 49ers. Just getting back there and doing his thing. It's crazy.
Don't like the 49ers, but I'll always root for a late round pick or an undrafted guy that's having a career year.
Hey, did Russ come before Fields?
I don't remember.
All right, well, I'm going to stick with Fields being first just for my story's sake.
We're just going to make that canon now.
We'll
That's just what happens.
That's just what happens. It's truth.
It's unfortunately, don't Google. Don't look it up. We're telling you what happened. Let's get to Four Down Territory.
This is Four Down Territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, the Seahawks worked out 4 tight ends this week. Tell us about these guys and what does it mean for the position group?
All right, first one is N'Keal Harry, a receiver that's converted to the tight end position. He was drafted before DK. Look at that, huh? He has 57 catches, 598 yards, 4 touchdowns with New England. He has good hands, not very fast, natural transition to the tight end spot. Next guy, Trey McKitty. Love his name.
Such a tight end name.
Such a tight end
Trey
name.
McKitty.
Trey McKitty.
Out of Iowa.
All tight ends are out of Iowa. All of them. They just come from Iowa. In 2021, he was drafted in the 3rd round to the Chargers. He's more of a blocking tight end. 16 career interceptions, 117 yards, 0 touchdowns. This one, Tyree Jackson. He was a quarterback in the XFL, transitioned to tight end, played with the Giants for a little bit, and then Garrett Prince is a practice squad guy for the Jags and the Chiefs. Like, what are you looking for? Noah Fant is not going on the IR. At least that's what the rumors are. So you're looking for someone to fill a void for a little bit. You still got Brown, Barner, and Russell over there. 3 tight ends, good enough to get it done, but you never know. So if I am the Seahawks, I'm going for the guy who can block the best. And apparently that is Trey McKitty. You want someone who could help this offensive line tremendously. Though I love the evolution of Barner in this offense. I love seeing Russell in the backfield at that fullback spot. And Brown has been a good blocker as well. It's not saying much. It's saying that this is what happens in the NFL. Guys go down. You need a void filled for about 3 or 4 weeks. Once that guy is healthy, he'll be on the roster, and who knows what happens with one of these guys if they even pick him up. But yeah, it's nice to see the Hawks being proactive and trying to make sure that they still have the numbers they need.
Second down. Every team's looking for a return on investment when it comes to players and their contracts. Do you feel the Hawks are getting that from their most expensive investments?
Well, let's talk about the most expensive investments. You have Geno Smith. He's getting $25 million a year. He's the 2nd lowest paid veteran starting quarterback in the game right now. I would say you're getting bang for your buck. No matter what happens, he could have 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions to end this year. Somebody's going to pay him $35 million. Now DK Metcalf, $24 million. He's the 13th highest paid receiver when it comes to annual average. He's playing like a top 8 receiver. When he was healthy, you're getting your money's worth. You got Big Cat, $21 million, the 17th highest paid defensive lineman. He's 9th best when it comes to bull rushing and getting after the quarterback, according to PFF. You're getting your money's worth. Dre Jones, $17 million every year, 25th highest paid at his position. He's got to produce a bit more. He's been banged up. We shall see. Uchenna, $15 million. No, he's banged up. He hasn't played a lot. Definitely not. Got Love at $11 million. Yes. Spoon at $7 million. Yes. Lockett at 15. Tricky, because what he brings to the table is not just what he does with the football. It's the leadership. It's the clutch plays. He's not going to have a 1,000-yard season. He's not. He's earned this $15 million. That's going to be a conversation that this team has to have at the end of the year. But I think overall, you are getting your money's worth out of Lockett because, one, we're loyal people. Two, we see the big plays that he made. He had, two or three catches last game. 2 of them were big. 1 for a touchdown, 1 for a first down. And you never know when he is going to go off. So, yes, I think $15 million seems high for some people. But when you look at the intangibles that he brings to the squad, I think you're getting your money's worth. Overall, they're doing okay when it comes to their spending and production.
Third down. What will DK be able to do now that JSN has emerged as a game breaker?
I think DK can run some underneath stuff. He already does. He doesn't just run goes and posts and corners and digs and all that stuff. But Jason put on film that I'm capable of moving you and getting around you and stretching the field out. When the season started, at least in training camp, we saw DK Metcalf in the slot a lot, and I was excited. Oh, man, DK in the slot. You're going to be able to get him the football different ways. He hasn't played too many snaps in the slot. Perfect example is that JSN leads all slot receivers in receptions and yards. So clearly, he's been in the slot more. So now you can play these games. JSN has taken a step when it comes to his development and route tree and playmaking ability. Everyone felt that he had this in him. You just haven't seen this type of performance. It was so crucial for JSN's mental and for Grubb to have that type of game. So now when DK comes back, you can mix it up a little bit. Put DK inside, put JSN outside. Bring over Tyler Lockett. Use those motions that the Rams use. I just like this, man. I think it's going to help each other out. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's the type of relationship.
Fourth down. What position can take a step forward and help the defense?
We got to look at the back end. This defensive line played pretty good last game. No sacks, but they got after the quarterback. Kobe Bryant had an opportunity to make a play, an interception. Didn't make it, but it was close. Reek Woolen made a play, interception, but he also didn't attack a football when it was an error. Could have ended the game, and we all would have been happy. But, look, the back end has to get going because that box is getting better. Where Ernest Jones, being the guy that he is, the dog that he claims to be, making plays in that box and that defensive line being stout, getting after the quarterback, that means that opportunities will be had in the back end. So I need these safeties, interceptions, corners, interceptions, big plays. Kobe Bryant already got a boom, lighting the dude up on the sideline. The back end has to shine now because I feel like the guys up front are starting to come together, understand their roles, and get after it.
All right, you guys, we've got What I Need to Know coming your way at 1:45 and plenty of time to take your questions. 866-979-3776. Get those questions in. Any question. It can be sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. We just like to have some fun, lighten up at the end of the show. 866-979-3776. Also, you can rate, review, and subscribe to the Bump and Stacy podcast. We're available wherever it is you get your podcast, as well as on seattlesports.com and the Seattle Sports app. If you guys could leave a review, a rating, that would mean the world to us. It really does help so much, and we really appreciate that, obviously. Still to come in Hype Train, we're going to take a look at whether or not the Bengals can upset the Ravens in Thursday Night Football. Take a look at whether NFC West teams can help out the Seahawks this weekend. And I promise that the food take I have in Hype Train is not a bad one. And you guys don't believe me. I promise it's not. I promise it's not.
I don't even know what it is.
Just go to commercial.
I'm already about to throw up.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There was some hope that perhaps they would address the O-line issues at the trade deadline. They did not.
I didn't expect that there was going to be a lot of offensive linemen out there. Just because, it's so hard to find good offensive linemen. You just kill for that right now, right? I mean, for the Seahawks, especially with all the injuries at right tackle. So that was my perception, that nobody wants to trade good offensive linemen, that they're just such a premium.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends. And explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
Hey, Bob Stelton here, preparing for another stressful holiday season. And this year, I am prioritizing my well-being. That's why I went to my local Johnson Fitness and Wellness store. Their equipment is made for more than just a workout. It's made for better sleep and mental breaks. And the massage chairs, not just for relaxation, they're made for recovery, stress relief, and lowering blood pressure. The experts at Johnson Fitness and Wellness are here to get you through the holidays with flexible financing, white glove delivery, and treadmills, bikes, and ellipticals up to 50% off. Check out johnsonfitness.com or one of the 3 Seattle locations today.
Is chronic pain beginning to make your everyday life a challenge? Then call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, with Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. With over 30 years of experience, no one has more experience in pain medicine techniques and stem cell therapy than Dr. Nelson. And here's what a satisfied patient had to say.
I was experiencing severe neck pain, kind of radiating from my shoulders up into my head. And it was pretty severe, and it lasted for about a year. So I went to see Dr. Nelson, and after I got the stem cell treatment, I had positive results within a week, and it just got better from there. And to this day, I can't believe I used to be in such pain. He was just an incredible doctor. Everything about the place was just fantastic.
So don't let pain control your life. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD. Call 425-823-4000 today. That's 425-823-4000 or go to danielnelsonmd.com.
Don't let sinus problems, snoring, and allergies hold you back. I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatment to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get the relief you need easily, quickly, and permanently. Come see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more. So you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
I started Davis Law Group 30 years ago with the goal of bringing the highest quality of legal representation to accident victims. Contact Washington's best personal injury team today at 206-727-4000 or visit us at davislawgroupseattle.com.
An airliner without warning plunges into the Gulf of Alaska. No one knows why. There are no survivors. Then loved ones are left to wonder, what happened to Flight 293? Unsolved Histories. What happened to Flight 293? Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
Jackson Smith-Njigba had a breakout game last Sunday against the Rams, totaling 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. In Daniel Jeremiah's weekly segment on the Brock and Salk Show Wednesday, Jeremiah was asked if this was a huge step forward for Smith-Njigba to begin to solidify himself as a top-tier wide receiver in this league.
That was a big game. I wish you didn't have the ball pop up in the air on that one pick. Mm-hmm. But you saw him. This was the explosive stuff that you wanted to see. And I was thinking about it when I was watching it because I was thinking back to our conversation and going back to my report on him coming out, and I was like, that was an Amon-Ra St. Brown game. Now the challenge is Amon-Ra gives you 10 to 12 of those games a year, so that's the next step. But man, positive step, absolutely.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Now that the rain is here, I remember my conversation with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, about metal roofs. And not only are metal roofs not loud when it rains, they're more eco-friendly, last twice as long, and Asset Roofing can do them for up to 30% less than their competitors. You can find out more at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing excellence is on the house.
All right, guys, you looking for a fun night out? It's Mike Salk here to remind you that Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go, unwind, and have some fun, and to eat some great food. Make sure to check out 12 Moons. And then Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood has the amazing happy hour menu that starts at 4 p.m. And Falls Buffet, they're serving up all your favorites like the prime rib every day, the fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fry, noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every day. All with breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. It is Seattle's closest, only 30 minutes from downtown, Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know coming your way in 15 minutes. 866-979-3776. Right now, let's head to the station for Hype Train. First one in, let's take a look at Thursday night football. I'm keeping it simple with this one, just a prediction. The Bengals upset the Ravens. Bump, are you boarding?
I'm boarding the train because Joe Burrow, he's finally going to get awarded for his stellar play this year. The defense is going to step up. Apparently, they have the defensive player of the year on their team in Hendrickson over there.
Little did I know.
11 sacks. Do better. But I'm rooting for him, man. He needs a win. He's been playing some great football, and the Ravens can afford to lose. They can lose tonight or Thursday, and we will all think, today is Thursday, yes, today, and we will all think that they are still Super Bowl contenders. The Bengals, on the other hand, they need to win a bunch of games in a hurry. I'm on that thing.
The Bengals upset the Ravens for Thursday night football. Ravens favored in this one, but Bump is boarding that train. He also said, look, Joe deserves it. Joe deserves a win. Curtis, are you boarding?
First off, Bump, how could you forget it's Thursday? It's your favorite day of the week.
You're spending it at the airport, though.
Because there's no Hawks Live today. There's no Hawks Live today, so you know, it's different.
I still can't get over that. That remains. You guys make fun of my takes. Bump's take that Thursday is the best day of the week.
Horrific.
I think about it every Thursday.
Just the grind of the work week. Just like,
I can't.
This is actually Bump's favorite day.
Bump's
Unbelievable.
favorite day.
Yeah, come on now.
Okay, Curtis, are you boarding this train? It is a great Thursday night football matchup.
It is. This will be a very entertaining game, I think. I just think the Ravens offense going up against this Bengals defense, yes, Bill Barnwell's defensive player of the year favorite, Trey Hendrickson, plays on it, but Cincinnati's been allowing a ton of points this season. I think that continues tonight. I think Baltimore gets the victory in this one, so I'm not boarding this train. I don't see an upset happening.
No, I don't either. I really want it to happen, and I hate that Joe's stellar season, again, one of 3 quarterbacks to throw for 20-plus touchdowns this year, is kind of being ruined by what's been a lopsided team and obviously was a very slow start. But no, the Ravens are, I think the Ravens and the Lions are the 2 best teams right now in the NFL, and obviously they don't have the best records. That'll be the Chiefs. But, speaking of the Chiefs, let's get to our next train here. Okay, for this one, you guys are probably going to want, actually for this one and the next one, you're going to want the schedule up. So for this one, look at Kansas City Chiefs rest of the season. The Chiefs are going to be the first team since the 2007 Patriots to go undefeated in the regular season.
Oh, those good old Chiefs, huh? What do they got left? You got the Broncos, Bills, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Broncos. It's all up to the Bills. If the Bills don't get her done, I don't see anyone else. Maybe the Steelers can get some magic on. But no, this is football. This is the NFL. It is tough to win ball games in the NFL.
Any given Sunday.
You line them up inch by inch.
Their backs against the wall.
Backs against the wall. You got to want it.
You don't want to
out-execute.
You got to want it more than
that.
They come to play.
And then you go back and watch the film.
So because of all of that, nah, they're not going to go undefeated. They're not doing it.
The Chiefs are going to be the first team since the 2007 Patriots to go undefeated in the regular season. They do have one of the easier remaining schedules in the league, so people are wondering whether this is possible, but they got a tough one coming up, as Bump pointed out, against the Bills and 2 against the Steelers. So, Curtis, are you boarding this train?
I'm not boarding. I think the Bills trip them up November 17th. I think that's where it ends. I don't see the Chiefs getting through a whole 17-game schedule unscathed. It's not 16 anymore. They got to play another one. And that Pittsburgh one on Christmas Day, short week coming off of a game against Houston the week prior. That's a tough back-to-back for them in a short amount of time. So if it's not Buffalo, I think it's one of Houston or Pittsburgh.
Next up. The Seahawks aren't playing this weekend, but the rest of the NFC West will. Here is the schedule. The Cardinals are hosting the Jets. The 49ers are traveling to play the Bucs. And for Monday Night Football, the Rams are hosting the Dolphins. It will be a clean sweep loss. The rest of the NFC West will lose this weekend to help the Hawks.
Very losable games. But I think the Cardinals are going to beat the Jets. Niners are going to beat the Bucs. Dolphins are going to beat the Rams.
Okay.
So only one of them losing. I'm not on that train.
Yeah, Cardinals hang on to first place then. Bump not boarding this one. NFC West teams all lose this weekend to help out the Hawks. Again, as a reminder, Cardinals hosting the Jets, 49ers taking on the Bucs on the road. Monday Night Football matchup, Rams hosting the Dolphins. Curtis, are you boarding?
I don't feel it in my heart.
Curtis,
but
this train's calling.
I'll board this train, mainly because I want to hear the horn. But also, yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I think Tampa could absolutely beat San Francisco. They nearly beat Kansas City on Monday night. Plus, this is a home game. I could see the Jets beating the Cardinals for sure. Not buying that the Cardinals right now are the best team in the NFC West, even though they have the best record. And Miami has the talent for sure. They've had a tough start to the season because of all the injuries that they've had. But the Rams are beatable. We saw that on Sunday where the Seahawks nearly pulled it off against them. So, yeah, I think it could very, very likely happen on Sunday.
Listeners are still texting in their coach speak phrases. Someone just said, need to win the turnover battle.
That's right. Got to play complimentary football.
That's that one I love. You just got to play complimentary football. We were reading them during the break and laughing. And there was one I didn't get to. What was it? It was, no, we said they just wanted it more. That was one that we read. Oh, God, it's so funny. I loved that segment. No, I can't in good faith board this train. While it would be great for the Seahawks, like Bump, I don't see the Cardinals losing to the Jets. It's such a toss-up for the Rams because the Dolphins are, can get rolling with Tua now, and so you're not sure what kind of Dolphins team you're going to see. But I think, unfortunately, the 49ers are probably going to beat the Bucs. Bucs gave the Chiefs a run for their money.
Yeah.
So they win if they go for that 2-pointer. All right, let's move on to our last one here. I said that I didn't have a bad food take, and I don't think this is a bad food take. I think you guys just need to open your minds and your hearts. Everyone loves French fries.
Yes.
I mean, some people don't, but most people do, okay? So that's not the take. French fries are best when dipped in barbecue sauce.
They're good.
Thank you. It's not a bad take.
The fry sauce, man. And everyone has their own kind of twist to the fry sauce. Dick's has theirs. Red Robin has theirs.
Oh, campfire sauce.
Blazing Onion has theirs. It's the fry sauce for me.
Okay, so you're looking at this ketchup mayo mix of and I'll call it a ketchup aioli.
Sure.
A tomato aioli. Fries are best when dipped in barbecue sauce. Bump is unfortunately not boarding this train. He said no, it's fry sauce, it's burger sauce, it's definitely not barbecue sauce, although barbecue sauce is fine. Curtis, this actually is the correct take, but are you boarding this train? You can choose.
I would eat naked fries over barbecue sauce.
What? Barbecue sauce is so good.
It is good.
It's just sugary brown sugar ketchup.
Then you're eating. If you want sweet potatoes, get sweet potato fries, right? That exists. Like, you don't need barbecue sauce on your fries. I'm not boarding. I'm just a classic ketchup man when it comes to if I'm dipping a fry or
Basic.
Red Robin campfire sauce.
Basic.
Sure, but it gets the job done.
Matt, I haven't gone to you on these yet, but you've opined on this take during the break. Fries are best when dipped in barbecue sauce. No takers yet. No one boarding this train.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
It's one of your worst food takes ever, Stacey.
It's really not. It's really not.
Do you really believe this?
Yes.
Ketchup, ranch, tartar,
No.
buffalo,
See, my
honey mustard,
okay,
anything.
My previous answer would have been honey mustard,
Honey
but
mustard's
I very
bomb.
recently had fries in barbecue sauce, and it's like I had this revelation. I was sitting there going, "Oh my God, like what?" People aren't talking about this. The people need to know. It was truly an eye-opening experience, a soul-opening experience.
I see.
But yeah, apparently you guys just don't. I'm telling you, barbecue sauce is for more than just ribs. Okay. What I need to know is coming your way next. Get your questions in 866-979-3776.
This is Seattle Sports.
Really start out by apologizing to my teammates, really, and to the city, to the organization.
Touchdown, Seahawks! What a game by JSN!
Some of the things that I said would never show up again showed up again.
Block! Oh, yeah. The ball is blocked! There was about 4 Seahawks who broke through.
We're going to find the solution at some point. So, we're going to go to work and we're going to figure it out.
I look directly at myself. I look in the mirror and I say, what do I have to do? And I know what I have to do.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Right now at Les Schwab, it's the deal you've been waiting for. The Score More sales event. Save up to $160 instantly on a wide selection of 4 tires and 4 wheels. Plus, every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Just one more way you'll get more from less. Stop by the store or find your tires at leschwab.com. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's!
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when intended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
Peter, Jorge, let's bring a nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Shop Dell Technologies' early holiday savings event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Early holiday savings is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota
Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning. Your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Perungo, it's not a maybe your hair will grow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in 866-979-3776. What I need to know. First one is a football question. Bump, do the Hawks run more double tight ends with these tight end talks? We did that, 5 years ago or around there, and would this improve run lanes for K9?
I think they already do a nice dose of double tight ends or two tight end sets. I don't see why not, though. If you want to create, here's the thing: when you bring tight ends and attach them to the line of scrimmage, there are going to be more bodies in the box. So I think they already do enough of it, but I would like to see the playbook expand off of it.
Someone said they took your advice from the other day and had a Wendy's Baconator.
Yeah, how was it?
They said,
how was it?
Very good, though a little pricey.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go fast food, you got to do that high-class fast food. That's Wendy's.
Got to do
Wendy's never frozen.
King.
Never frozen. You see how the packages is all silver and stuff? You know, that means it's good if it's packaged that way, Matthew. Bet you didn't know that.
What I need to know, you were granted immortality, but you have to pick one food for the rest of your life to eat to stay young. What are you picking for eternity?
Man, can I stay healthy too, though?
Right? Okay, wait. Like, if I could eat pizza every day.
I can eat it every day, but I know I'm just going to get out of shape.
Well, hang on. But if I eat pizza every day and it keeps me young forever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
How about this?
Absolutely.
How about burritos?
Yeah.
Because you can put meats.
Yeah.
You can put beans. You can put cheese. You can put lettuce. You can put tomatoes.
You can make a pizza
vegetables.
burrito if you wanted to.
Can I say something?
Wow. You're not a burrito person.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Wow, okay.
But
Another horrid
I am
food
going to a Mexican restaurant this Saturday for a girls' night. So I was perusing the menu ahead of time because I like to make my choices.
What?
Oh yeah, I like to look ahead of menus.
I like to. Yeah.
Wow.
I like to just kind of look
Always
it over.
got to be prepared, bub.
Well, and this
I'm
isn't
just like,
a
surprise me. What you got?
See, I like to look it over because, you go to a table, you're talking, and you're not really looking, and you're like, this. So I want to really know.
Okay.
And I got to the burrito section, and I was like, I would rather have 5 different things than a burrito, like taco. other things.
But we're talking about
Enchilada.
like one food that you could have the rest of your life.
I would choose many things over a burrito.
I would. You know what? I might choose tacos.
Yes.
I might choose tacos.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You still ain't gone to the white people taco spot yet.
Oh, no, I haven't. That's just my mom's house. What was it?
Cut Shop.
Okay,
White people
yes.
tacos. Bye.
Check it out. What I need to know, Bump, why do the Hawks always try to run out of shotgun?
Because that is the running method that Greg prefers. And it allows you to RPO off of that too. I don't know how many RPOs they're running off of it, but it allows for RPOs.
I was going to say, related question. Do you wish that they would do more play action? Because Robert Mays told us that yesterday.
Yes, I would. But you gotta get the run game going. The run game has to be a real threat for play action to work.
Thank you, 253. Wait, you guys don't excessively look at the menu online before going? What?
I'm the only one who does it in this group.
I was going to say, it's just Bump.
It's just me.
Bump. Bump is just the crazy part. But I'm
just
not
show up.
talking about
I
like
just show up.
going to a random place. Like if you know you have plans and maybe it's a nicer restaurant or a place, you just want to look and see
I
what
just show up.
Never.
I just show up.
But what if there's something you're missing and you need just some time to focus?
You know what I do? I like to talk to the waiter or waitress. Walk me through this. What do you suggest? I have questions. I like to make it interactive. I just don't want to show up and be like, give me this. I need the experience.
Someone just said, Stacy sound like my mother-in-law. That's rude. Actually, that's a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment. Let's see. What was the name of Bump's taco shop?
It's not a taco shop, but they serve tacos there at Cut Shop Woodinville. The tacos are bomb and that spicy chicken. I love it.
Bump, do you personally own your own golf cart?
That is a dream of mine. I have no reason to because I live too far away from my home course. So, nah, man. It's coming, though. I'm going to be on a golf course one day, golfing with no shoes on and the sun out. And I will have my own golf cart.
Choose one of these two things.
Okay.
You can have a golf cart and live on a golf course and golf as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Or two, you can eat and drink as much as you want and not have it hurt your body or be caloric in any way.
Golf all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Golf all day. That's tough though.
Bump, what do you keep on your shower bench?
My skincare products.
Yeah, the skincare line.
Yeah.
Let's see. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Everyone's just saying, Bump, everyone's just agreeing with you. Bump, got you. Never in my life have I peeped the menu before going to a restaurant. You guys should try it. There might be something that you miss when you go there.
Right, and there's nothing worse than going to a restaurant and seeing the menu and be like, there's nothing here that I like. Like, that's an awful feeling because then it's like, I'm going to have to power through and eat this.
The 253 just said, dang, this is a man who loves to golf.
Love it.
866-979-3776. If they're out of fries, do you go for a soup or salad?
Oh, funny story, super salad. My father-in-law. English is his second language.
Okay.
So we go to Olive Garden or something, and the waitress goes, "Do you want you want soup or salad?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "No, do you want soup or salad?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "No, Ramon, soup or salad." He goes, "Oh, I thought she was saying super salad." He's like, "Heck yeah, I want that super salad."
Yes.
He's like, "Heck yeah, I want that."
Fun. Sign me up. That sounds amazing.
I go salad though. I go salad.
206. What funny movie has not aged well? Ooh.
Man.
I still like so many movies that were funny when I was younger.
I mean, my wife thinks every funny movie I like is dumb. Like our sense of humor is completely different.
Has The Hangover aged well?
You know what? I think I watched that and don't laugh like I used to. I think that's a good one.
There are a couple. Oh, okay. For different reasons. Like the old Adam Sandler movies, like is Billy Madison? What's the one where he's in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched that as an adult for the first time. I literally me and Derek just watched it. And I was and I told him, I was like, I know at the time this was the funniest thing on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like today you watch it and it's inappropriate or whatever.
Yeah.
But the actual genre of humor, the type of humor, including like physical humor, it's just not that funny anymore.
Well,
but
see,
it
you don't have the context though. You're in your 28-year-old mind and not your 12-year-old mind.
Thank you so much. You're right. That's a good friend. No, but you're right. Like back then, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like laugh out loud funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just doesn't. I think humor just changes over time.
It does.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't even be offensive anymore these days. Remember offensive humor? It was the greatest. Now
You can't, though.
You can't do that.
What's a cliche? We talked about coach cliches. What's a cliche your parents used to say when you were in trouble?
Birds of a feather flock together.
Oh, like if you were in trouble with your friends?
Yeah, so all y'all doing it. I go, no, Bobby did it. I was just there. But I guess we do flock together.
Not a cliche, but my mom used to always say, well, I won't be mad if you're just honest. Like if you just tell me what happened. And then I'd be like, okay, I skipped class. And then you get in trouble.
All bad. All right, so now you're
All
in
bad.
punishment.
That's a trap.
Yeah, it
That's
is
a trap. All right, this has been Bump and Stacy. If you missed any part of the show, or if you loved it so much you just need to hear more, make sure you check out the Bump and Stacy podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or SeattleSports.com. For Michael Bumpus, Curtis Rogers, Matt Nelson, I'm Stacy Ross. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There was some hope that perhaps they would address the O-line issues at the trade deadline. They did not.
I didn't expect that there was going to be a lot of offensive linemen out there. Just because, it's so hard to find good offensive linemen. You just kill for that right now, right? I mean, for the Seahawks, especially with all the injuries at right tackle. So that was my perception, that nobody wants to trade good offensive linemen, that they're just such a premium.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples